Well, hello there, friends, and welcome to Virtual Strangers 109. I'm your host, Wes. With me, as always, my good friend Roots. Roots, you go away for a week, man, and you expect everything to just be nice and calm in the way you
Mhm.
left it. Not the way I left it.
No, and there's a lot of things different. Radio Runt's level 45 in Demio. He just hit last night. Uh, my internet, I got a new freshing modem, so we should have a nice stable. It's been a very consistent the last 10, 15 minutes, so I'm gonna put it out there. It's gonna be stable. The best stream we've had in a long time. And then on top of all of that, Wes, somebody took the table of VR and flipped it upside down, and finally gave us some long-awaited PlayStation VR news, right?
Games and games and games and games and games. Yeah, man. Uh, PSVR, its demise has been prematurely reported for the last couple of years, and it just won't die. It's like the VR zombie of VR platforms, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Alan Cara says Wes needs a new T-shirt, and he's got that swarm, cool swarm shirt, man. If I had it, I'd be wearing it all the time. I actually, Alan Cara just joined the crew, right, for the Patreon. Uh,
Absolutely, and thank you, Island Kyra, for the support. They say I need a new shirt. Well, they're going to buy me one. You know what I mean?
that's right, that's right. And we want cool VR shirts like Swarm or any other developers. Actually, that's a call. Shout out to the devs. Send us some shirts. We'll wear them, right? We'll showcase your
Yeah,
game.
dude. The shirts aren't there, man. I look for them. I want to buy them, right? Like I'll buy the shirts, but they're just not there. Anytime I find a cool VR shirt, I buy it and I own two. So that should tell you something. I did see a cool hoodie though the other day for Smash Drums. I don't know if
Oh,
you're familiar with the rhythm game Smash Drums, and that game kind of came and went without us covering it. But now that I see that it has a cool shirt, it makes me want to try the game, hoping that I'll like it so I can buy the shirt.
yeah, that would be cool. You know, what'd be really cool is like a really badass Skydance Walking Dead shirt. I would love that. Tiffany.
Yeah, I mean they got an awesome logo, so I mean they wouldn't have to reinvent the wheel to come up with a cool shirt for that one.
There's got to be a shirt out there, man, for all the insiders. I wanted
Well,
just
that's the
one.
thing. That's the thing. Like there are shirts, there just aren't shirts for sale.
Yeah.
Like Wraith, the Oblivion Afterlife, like they gave a shirt away on their Discord a couple of weeks ago. They were doing an AMA and randomly gave someone a shirt. And I'm like, hey, I mean, I'll participate in your AMA, but I want to buy the shirt. Where can I buy the shirt? Shirt's not for sale,
Oh my
you
God.
know.
That's crazy. I want your shirt. And I want to give you money. Tiffany says they would create shirts, but they don't own the IP for The Walking Dead. That makes sense.
Ah,
Kind of need to own the rights, right? So,
well, you know what? Give me an Archangel shirt. I'll buy an Archangel shirt.
hell yeah, dude. And any good VR shirt. I'm just glad that there's one out there, Swarm. I mean, why would you not sell merch, right? I mean, it makes sense to me.
Well, because up until like the last 18 months, there was about 5 people using VR. And now there's like 25. So
Mm,
maybe they'll start considering it.
yeah, that's true. Although one of the stories we're going to be talking about later refutes the fact that there's only 25 people in VR. A couple more than 25, I think.
Adam Fisher, Smash Drums has t-shirts too. You got to click all. The full version of the game comes out in a few weeks as well, I think. Yeah,
Hmm.
I wasn't just spitballing a minute ago when I said we were thinking about covering it just so I can hopefully like it and buy the shirt. We're literally probably going to cover it now because I want to like it and buy the shirt.
Yeah. Tiffany says she loves the fact that there's still love for Archangel, and they could make shirts, but they wouldn't be able to charge for it. So you can make us a free shirt. And somehow I'm bouncing something around and barely even moving, but very bizarre. Now that the
Well,
internet's stable, the mic is not.
well, that would be. It would kind of be cooler to have shirts for games like Archangel, right? These deep cut Gen One VR games that your average Oculus Quest 2 user probably wouldn't recognize. It kind of it would be a way for us to show our status as the OG early adopters, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's for sure.
Lipnox VR Smash Drums is June 17th for the full version, so a couple of weeks away for Smash Drums. So look out for coverage.
Mash Daddy says, wait, I heard VR was dead, yo. And then Scion says that was PC VR. It's kind of ironic because that's the news. Or I'm not talking about Quest, but we'll get to that down the road. But it's just things are changing, but for good, in a good way, Wes.
Yeah, good stuff for everybody. Good stuff in this show today for everybody. So no matter which team you identify with, whether it be PCVR, PSVR, standalone VR, or if you're like me and you're platform agnostic, stick around because we got stuff that's going to interest you. You know, we talked about it last week to kick the show off. I said that you could almost feel it in the air that the summer gaming season was about to kick off. You know, things are cyclical in the gaming industry, and summer is the time where the game developers and people on the software side start to build hype so that people on the hardware side can sell hardware at the end of the year. And literally, it starts in June and it builds all the way through December, generally peaking around the beginning of fall, honestly. But I mean, when I say peaking, I mean it's about to get crazy in just a few weeks, and it's not going to let up at all.
Yeah, well, I'm excited. I'm hoping I can get one of these 3080 Ti's. Do you think they're readily available out there? The new hardware that they're showcasing that nobody can get a hold of. I guess people can get a hold of them, but they're already scalping that stuff, man. They're disappearing quick, and it's not surprising.
Yeah, I went ahead and put my name in the mailing list for those, even though I don't have really any intention on buying one. It was just kind of a reflex. You know, why not put my name on the list? You never know. A little bit of an inflated price with the TI versions of the 3070 and the 3080 when you really look at what you're getting. But you know, it is what it is. That's the state of the world today, and I feel sorry, Ruuts. I feel sorry for those people who passed on the $700 3080, saying I'll wait for the TI. Because guess what, bro? You're gonna have to throw an extra $5 down on top of that now, at least.
Well, you got the there is something to be said to have being able to say I got the 3080 Ti, bro. Like I got the top, the creme de la creme, for a couple years anyway, right? I mean, I even if it's not the
Well,
Ti, that having a 3080's got to be nice. Just for
yeah,
instance, sorry for Red Dead, bro. Like, I'm playing on the very high profile, with it going to 14 by 1400, and then I'm tuned some of the stuff down, the volumetric stuff, and it looks sharp as hell. But I'm imagining what it would look like on ultra, on the best of the best, like you probably are able to play it. And I'm jealous, bro. I'm jealous.
Well, yeah, certainly a very capable card and worth owning. And it's worth stating that the 3080 Ti doesn't cost any more than the 2080 Ti costed when it launched. Like it's the same price. And basically, I was saying the same thing then that I'm saying now. It's a little overpriced. Now, the only reason that I'm saying that is because a couple more $100 get you a 3090, and that's going to double your VRAM, among other things. So, I mean, if you're going 3080 Ti, I really just don't see why you wouldn't just go all the way, bro.
I would too. I mean, the VRAM makes a huge difference, even if you're not utilizing it now down the road. It's going to make a huge difference as things scale up, right? And I mean, I almost feel like 8 isn't enough. Oh God, that was a good show. Almost feel like 8 is not enough gigabytes. You know, there was back at 1060 that people said 6 was enough. And back then I was like, no, man, 8 was the limit. And now that we're going to 12, and I mean, pretty soon here we're gonna be seeing 12 be the new norm, right? I think anyway.
Yeah, it was weird, man, because you know, my 3080 has 10 gigabytes of VRAM on it, and in a box that seems like plenty, right? It seems like that would be enough to run just about anything you want, and it will, of course. You're really just sacrificing time more than anything when you talk about shrinking down your VRAM to 10 gigabytes. But the weird thing is that that was the only department coming from 1080 Ti going to 3080 that I took a step back in. My 1080 Ti had 11, I think, in it, and now I have 10. So that's kind of weird. 2 generations later, taking a step back in VRAM, it really. Now, with that said, it is faster. It's the DDR6X, state of the art cutting edge VRAM, but it's still just 10 gigabytes.
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest thing is the DLSS, all that new stuff coming out that I'm thinking, God, I have a 2080 because just for instance, I went into what's it called? That's on our list here. No
No
Man's
Man's
Sky.
Sky.
Yeah, I went into No Man's Sky and turned it on, and with the exception of a little bit of weirdness in the sky in one or two places for a second or two, I've never seen that game look so sharp and run so perfect. And I'm running on a 2080, and I have it turned up to whatever ultra, and it's ridiculous, dude. And it just looks so good. It's now ready, because I just went around and flew around in I guess whatever the free mode is, where you can do everything. You don't start with everything; you still have to craft it. But I just crafted myself. Went to another engine, went to another planet. And I was thinking this would be great for me and Wes to do a money show in or whatever, man. This is awesome. And I think we're there finally. So
Yeah, I'm glad, man. I'm glad that the 2000 series user finally is going to get some of what they paid for, because typically when you have these mid-generation cards, right, the ones that launch a new platform, the way the 2000 series launched the Ampere RTX platform, typically what you're paying for is to be a beta tester. Like, they put features on those cards, but since it's the first iteration, generally it's not, very usable in any practical sense. It's something that you can turn on, see what it does, watch your performance hit the ground, and then turn it back off. It's good to see that somewhat 3 or 4 years after those cards come out, that they're finally able to have some kind of practical use, and you're actually able to recoup some of that cost that you laid down when you bought that card all those years ago.
yeah, yeah. I'm just glad that I'm not left out in the the cold, man. A 1080 Ti is a nice card, but not being able to do that, it's kind of sucks. Especially if you're have a lower card and you want to squeeze out that extra performance, right? But you can't because it's just not built into that card. And there's going to be stuff that comes out for the 3000 series that I guarantee you I won't be able to do. And then that's when you start to feel squeezed. I feel like it's making people feel even more squeezed than they did before, if they haven't been able to get these cards. Right now, they have another reason to be pissed, and we need one more reason in 2021 to be pissed off. I think, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, as if we didn't have enough already, here's one more for you. But I'm not pissed, Roots. I'm excited because, as I was saying before, summer is obviously at hand. We highlighted last week that the Steam Next Fest is coming next week, June 16th through the 22nd. It's going to be a celebration of all things gaming on Steam. And we said that you could feel it in the air that the summer was at hand. And, we go off the air a few days, and what happens? Sony comes through with a from out of left field PSVR spotlight that no one was expecting. This happened on the 3rd of June, just a few days ago. And they show up and they highlight 7 titles that are coming soon. And that's not just the typical coming soon rhetoric. They're actually coming soon to the PlayStation VR platform. So that just goes to show, Roots, that again, those calling for the death of PSVR might be a little bit premature. I mean, we have the next generation squarely in our view, but the PSVR platform not quite done just yet.
Yeah, and if you think they are, then I don't know what you're smoking. Spry Guy says AMD is doing something that may be better than DLSS. He forgets what it's called.
FSR.
Okay, FSR, yeah. So you won't be left out in the cold. Now, will it just depends on what's readily accepted, I guess, right? Or made room for Just because it's out there doesn't mean devs use it. Hopefully they will. I'm assuming they will, but
No, that's the whole beauty of FSR is that it's much easier for devs to implement than DLSS is,
mm,
and it can run on much more modest hardware. You don't have to have the top of the line stuff to get in a boost from FSR. It's going to be used on everything,
mm.
including consoles and standalone units. Like everything that runs a AMD is going to be able to take advantage of FSR.
It's kind of like the people that need it the most actually get to have access to it. How crazy is it? Because a lot of people are saying, "Oh, great, you got a 3080 and you're able to crank up your graphics." And No Man's Sky, I'm running a 1060 with 6 GB. I need to be able to crank my DLSS so I can just play the damn thing. And that would seem like it would be more important than the higher end stuff, right?
Yeah, what a novel idea, right? Allowing optimization efforts to be enjoyed by those who need it the most. I mean, crazy thinking roots. I don't know where they come up with this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. That's totally crazy.
Anyway, so we had Steam Next Fest we talked about last week. We had PSVR Spotlight, which we're going to be talking about this week. You know, they gave us info on 7 games. I think we're going to cover 5 of them today, and that's only going to be about half of our show. So we got so much to talk about today. And then, as if that weren't enough, Upload VR comes out and announces that the next Upload VR Summer VR Showcase is going to be next week as well, June 12th. Ruuts, a brand new handful of trailers, developer interviews, and otherwise awesome reveals coming courtesy of the good people at Upload VR. So a lot to be excited about as we head into the summer gaming season. Things are afoot with regards to VR and the VR platforms.
That's awesome. It's exciting times. And Tiffany, I just wanted to tell you I can't find my cup, so that's why I'm using this one. It's out there, floating out there somewhere. I'll find it soon, and then I'll bring it home.
You talking about your Roots coffee mug?
Yeah, it's out. It's like disappeared into ether, and just gotta find it. I just don't know where it's at. I think it's in one of the vehicles at work. So
Somebody has stolen the Roots mug.
yeah,
We have to get to the bottom of this.
it's the original one. So I just had to tell people I don't care. I do not care. So,
Anyway, again, so much to talk about. Games and games and games and games and games and on top of that, Roots, we got games to give away, friend. Copies of Upergrad, 3 PSVR, 3 Quest. We're going to be giving out. We're going to be drawing live during today's episode. We're going to do this for those of you who are interested. After the news segment, the news portion of the show is finished. There she is. There's Oprah. After the news portion is finished, before we get into the weekly reminders, we're going to shove a little giveaway segment right in the sweet spot there. So hang out just a little bit, you guys, and we'll start handing out games before we get to the week's reminders.
Spry Guy says I'm in the dishwasher. Oh wait, my his Roots mug is in the dishwasher, so he's washing it up. So.
Well, at least he knows where his children are, huh?
That's right. That's right. I should know where mine is. I feel bad.
Anyway, so much news to get to, but before we do that, let's kick it off the way we always do by saying hello to our friends in chat. And I'm already seeing lots of familiar faces and some new faces as well. So hello, one and all. Mepper's in the house, Roots. He's stopping by to get the VR fix for the week. PD, Paradise Decay, says, you know who else likes to get stuff for free?
My mom!
Oh yeah, she does.
Absolutely. Gamer Chick 13, the Diet Pepsi Cat. Hello, Tiffany. Thank you for coming by. Lipnox VR, Eddie C, VR Spry Guy, and Space Denison, aka Void Cat, in the house as well. Onakazi, ready to get this party started. In Dreams VR. Hello, Jimmy. Come by to make sure that everyone knows what's up with Fracked, you know, the upcoming exclusive PlayStation VR game that's coming to us from In Dreams. And just a little teaser, not the only In Dreams title that's going to get some sort of mention during today's show. We're going to give a few seconds at least to another one later on in the day as well. So stay tuned for that. Let's see here. Sutrabla says, I don't even have a PS5, but PSVR is awesome. Yes, absolutely. Who else is in the house here? Meow Meow the Gamer Cat. Hello. Thanks for
Garage
stopping by. Ray.
Says silent
Ray.
user.
Oh, is Cyril here? Hello, Cyril. We're going to be talking about your game this Wednesday, and I guess this would be a good opportunity to go ahead and give everybody the heads up that it's okay to get excited, because this Wednesday we will see the return of Virtual Show, friends. After a 2-week hiatus, we're going to be coming back in style this Wednesday as we cover Stones of Harloth, as we cover Carve snowboarding, as we cover Guardians, and after all of that, we're going to pick the games of the month for May 2021 on each VR platform. So as awesome as today's show is going to be, the Wednesday late night counterpart going to be just as awesome, Ruuts.
Yeah. It feels like I feel like I've been on vacation. I haven't gone anywhere. I'm just still here, but kind of taking a little break, right?
Yeah, it feels weird to do it weekly. Like I said that last week, and it applies doubly so this week. Man, it feels like it's been a while since feels like I've been letting stuff pile up, but it's not. Well, we only do news on Sundays anyway, so it's just been a busy week on the VR Newswire.
Yeah, absolutely. I almost did that live episode of what's it called? Dude, from Risk of Rain, while you were gone, and it didn't feel right. I said, no, when we do something from Risk of Rain 2, Wes is gonna be there. So I opted to just play with the guys and not stream it. But I do want to get in some Risk of Rain 2. I'd be remiss.
Speaking of Risk of Rain 2, I actually played a little bit of Stones of Harloth when I was on vacation, when I was camping. But when I was in the headset, it actually started raining, and I didn't know it at first. And wife came out and she's like, "You're going to destroy your headset." And my feet were wet, but my head wasn't. So
wow.
Thank goodness for that.
That's crazy. Gotta be careful.
Ray Delator says Stones of Harloth is a cool game. It is, dude. It's got that. I don't want to get off and do a review as a side tangent here, but it's got that cool retro nostalgia that we knew it would, right? It's kind of the one thing that we do know about Garage Collective and their games is if they have anything, they have that retro nostalgia going on. And it's certainly, it feels like playing Dragon Warrior from the inside, Ruuts.
Yeah, it's like you got sucked into it, your childhood game, and you're now fighting. It's cool.
Yeah. So anyway, tune in Wednesday night for the full review discussion, Stones of Harloth, Carve snowboarding, Guardians, and again, game of the month, May, which is not going to be an easy decision. So you guys show up and give us a hand when it comes to picking these games, because as each month goes by, the competition seems to be getting stiffer and stiffer. You know who loves it when it gets stiffer, Ruuts?
My mom.
Oh wow! I didn't know if you were going to admit that one, but I did hear that. So
anyway, we're going to do something a little new here today, guys. As we get into the news and start talking about it, we have decided that at least on occasions like today, where there's so much news to talk about, I mean, we don't want to be here 5 hours, and I'm sure some of you guys would be down for the 5-hour podcast, but we don't want to be here 5 hours. So we are going to debut right now a brand new segment for the Virtual Strangers show. And this segment is going to be called simply Headlines. And the idea is here, we always talk about news on the Sunday show, and we generally pick 5 to 8 games, and we'll have a pretty in-depth discussion previewing or reviewing these games. But in weeks like this week, there's so much stuff to do. We can't afford to give every game or every story 20 to 30 minutes the way we typically do. So the concept behind headlines is I've got a list here of 9 or 10 headlines. I'm just going to read off the headline, nothing more. I'll give a thought on it. Ruuts will give a thought on it, and then we'll go on to the next one, rapid fire style. And then after we get to the end of this list, we'll kick into our usual in-depth analysis of the VR gaming news of the week. So that's what's up. That's what we're doing here. This is a new segment called Headlines. Maybe one day we'll have a little animation that comes in and goes, boom, headline.
Headlines.
But as of right now, you just have to deal with our low-fi version of it. So anyway, first headline, Warhammer 40K Battle Sister launches on Oculus Link. So Ruuts, I naively had thought that this already happened. Like I thought that it was already out on Rift/Link. I just hadn't bothered with installing it, and come to find out that it's only just launched a couple of days ago. And I'm happy to report that I did go ahead and install it this morning.
Well, I was actually, it kind of made me feel like buying the game now. It's on sale, right, on the Quest version, and I get it on sale for the trade for free on the upgrade. So
yeah, absolutely. It is a cross-buy title, and it is on sale, which is typically something that you don't see. I don't know if I've ever seen an Oculus Quest game go on sale for a week like this one just was, go off sale for a week, and then back on sale for the same price, which is exactly what's happening here. And I don't know if it was intentional or maybe something that they're doing to promote the launch onto the Rift platform. It's notable that it's not on sale on the Rift platform. It's only on sale on the Quest platform. But again, it's cross buy. So if you buy it on Quest, you get it on Rift. So it's weird. And if you're on the fence about this one, this is your second chance. You might want to go grab it today while you can still get it at a $6 discount.
Yep, absolutely.
Headline, Sony's Team Asobi gets a new logo and are, quote, developing franchises for all ages. So this, Ruuts, is the team that brought us Astrobot Rescue Mission. And most people didn't really recognize Team Asobi as the team behind Astrobot. Most people recognize that title as coming out of Sony Japan, the larger Sony Japan. But Sony Japan Studios was disbanded a few months ago. A lot of people got scared what that might mean for franchises like Astrobot, but all it is a restructuring. They disbanded the larger Sony Japan studio. They took the key members from Sony Japan and folded them under Team Asobi, who was really where Astrobot came from. So basically, that team is still intact and has grown, and that it's all that remains of the larger Sony Japan studio.
Wow. Well, it sounds like Astrobot 2 is coming. It's just a matter of time, right?
Yeah, I think it was Jim Ryan talking last week, or yeah, I think it was. I think it was Jim Ryan that was talking last week. No, it was not. It was Herman Holst, head of PlayStation Studios, the global head of PlayStation Studios. Herman Holst said that Team Asobi, well, he's the one that said what I just said, is developing a franchise for all ages, a globally recognized franchise that is fun for all ages. There's something to that effect, basically confirming Astrobot 2. I just want confirmation that it's going to support VR, because that is not a given.
Yeah, that's true. That would be weird. Everything about it that was so good was the VR. The fact they did it, they did everything that you would need to do to bring a VR game into make it different, at that it just becomes another game. Although I don't know. So
but just another reason to get excited for PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 5 VR, in my opinion.
Mash wants to know if we're sure Warhammer is cross-buy. It doesn't show that in the store.
I checked it before the program today, and I will check it again right now in real time to verify it. But I'm quite certain because I did check.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to the page, Oculus Crossbuy apps. I'll link this in the chat in just a second here. I am I am arranging from Z to A, backwards alphabetical. And the 8th title that I look at is Warhammer 40K Battle Sister. It is indeed cross-buy. And again, I'll put the link up right here in the chat so you can see it for yourself.
Eddie C says it runs better on PC and it's slightly better looking, and it absolutely is cross-buy because he's played it. And I'm assuming you only bought it on the Quest version, so
Yeah, well, I guess I could have said that because I did install it this morning for free because it is cross-buy. So
damn it, Wes, you're gonna make me buy this thing, man. This show's even making me buy games. I don't want to buy it, even though part of me wants to buy it apparently. So
yeah, I think it's going to be one of these titles, kind of like Evasion, that's pretty visually and has pretty straightforward arcade style gameplay. You know what I mean? I don't think that they're going to reinvent the wheel here at all. But if you like getting in there and shooting stuff and you like big elaborate set pieces, I think that's what this game's pretty much going to be.
cool. I'll have to get it and talk about it.
Headline: Ubisoft launches Far Cry VR 8-player VR arcade experience. Ruuts. It looks like location-based VR is making a comeback.
Yeah, well, people are not scared to go outside as much anymore, right? They got the Jabberoo and they're good.
Yeah, it wasn't just the Far Cry announcement either this week. I read another headline. Day of the Dead or one of those zombie movies is also doing a location-based thing, and that one's cool because it's all on like a bus or something, and it's traveling the country and like has dates in each city. It's on tour, location-based on tour VR experience.
You know what would be cool is if you had a location-based on tour like that, but you could bring your own. It was bring your own headset. You know what I mean? Like they have it all set up, all linked up. All you bring your Quest to, you just log in or hook up, and now you go, and it reduces the price. You don't have to wear. Not everybody's not worried about wearing somebody else's, because that still is a thing. If you were paranoid about germs at all before COVID, you're definitely not going to be putting on a headset anytime soon, even if you have these things, right?
I mean, in a perfect world, that would be great. A bit of a logistical problem and a bit of a problem with regards to quality control, because obviously these big expensive location-based experiences have a certain quality standard that they want to push. Case in point, this Far Cry VR, which by the way has a trailer and it's awesome looking. I would suggest you guys go to YouTube and check it out. The Valve Index headsets that they're using for this thing, you actually wear the PC on your back that you connect directly into it over your shoulder, and they have those gun controllers. You remember the PC version of the aim controller we talked about a few months back? That it was like, I don't know, they're like $300-400 a piece. These controllers, this experience uses those. So this is going to be something premium. It's only like 30 minutes or so long, and I think tickets are like $25.
That's not too bad.
But from what I can understand, it's going to be worth every penny.
What if the person in front of you is a greasy kid with a full face full of pimples? Is what Eddie C says. He would not put it on after. And that's the big thing. Is like, they're gonna. I'm sure they'd wipe it down or whatever. But I see something like this, and I don't necessarily think about the experience of going in there with the headset. I think about them putting something in the Far Cry universe into VR and what potentially that could lead to down the road, right? Or if this is so good, eventually it comes to PC VR. I mean, that's a possibility down the road as well. I just see the potential of what it's going to be, what it's going to be like in the future. So that's cool.
Yeah, Ubisoft very blatantly positioning themselves as the AAA VR company, right? Like we have other AAA studios or companies rather that have put forth VR games, and some of them multiple, but nobody like Ubisoft. Ubisoft's got something like 10 games out there now, multiple location-based experiences, and more on the way. Like we already know that Splinter Cell VR is coming. Assassin's Creed VR is coming. Ubisoft, not afraid in the least. They understand that VR is the future, and they're putting their money where their mouth is.
Yeah, well, that's definitely good for all of us, right? and can't wait to see either of those games, Assassin's Creed and Splinter Cell. I haven't heard anything about either one for a long time, right? So it would drop soon.
Yeah, I would expect at Facebook Connect this fall we're going to hear something about one, if not both of those titles. So stay tuned for that.
Eddie C says Ubisoft sucks.
Right, right. Oh, but I didn't list it. You know, we were listing the gaming showcases at the top: the Steam Next Fest, the PSVR Spotlight, the Upload VR Summer Showcase. I forgot to put on there, Roots, that there's going to be another Ubisoft Forward event too, right in the same time period. So watch that. Very likely that there's going to be some VR news coming out of that as well.
Oh, awesome. PSVR Underground wants to know if y'all would give a location-based VR a try. I would. I'm not, I'll go out and do anything. I have the last year and a half, my life's not changed at all. So I'm not
Oh,
afraid of going out to an event.
yeah, absolutely. I would if I had the opportunity. Unfortunately, this stuff is not within arm's distance of me. I looked, I want to play Far Cry VR. I looked.
Mm,
I think the closest one to me is going to be in Chicago,
mm.
which is like a 8 or 9 hour drive from here.
Oh,
So
wow.
probably not going to happen for the Weasel.
Yeah, I'm assuming I'm in the same boat. I'm not near the coast, either coast, so that's usually where that stuff is. The closest to me would be like a Vegas event, probably, but that's not even that close. So if there was one.
But hello, AJ. Thanks for showing up, and friends filing in left and right. Roots. Chris Richardson has joined the party. Drew's in the house. I saw a couple more walk in a moment ago as well. Derail, Traveling Man, Techno Glitch. I think I might have even saw here at some point. Everybody's showing up, Roots. So thanks for stopping by, you guys, and supporting. We really appreciate it.
I heard the stream was not all jank anymore. If they wanted to check it
Yeah,
out, that's good.
yeah. Cross all your fingers and knock on all your woods, though. All right. So,
Yeah, for sure.
oh, Lo-Fi Spinoff Tech Demo Agency launches on App Lab. So this, Roots, is a tech demo in the simplest sense of the word. Pretty much, this game, or I'm sorry, this application is what Lo-Fi was when we first went in and checked it out. It's something very, very pretty to look at, has atmosphere for days, but not much to do. It's just basically meant as a proof of concept, showing that Mr. Renaud Blair is talented enough to bring a pretty awesome world to the Oculus Quest platform.
Yeah. Somehow Gamer Chick says that somehow backfired, that she's now paying for us all to travel out to Vegas to do an event, a virtual strangers event. What's funny about this lo-fi thing is it's taken so long for Blair to get this thing, at least what I would think, because I got the game, I paid for it. I want to see it. But I'm not put off by it because he's taken like great lengths and time to make sure that this is everything. The reason why people love No Man's Sky is because they took the time, even though people want it rushed, to make it better, right? And the difference is Blair's going to make sure this thing is done before he releases it, but he's still letting people know I'm still working on it. So I kind of like what he's doing.
Yeah, man. That guy, he's not afraid of criticism, and he's not going to release his game until it's ready. So, I mean, we were supposed to have it shipped late this year. I would not be surprised in the least if this thing's a year late, and I'm happy with that because I know when Lo-Fi does launch that it's going to be amazing. And I haven't went into Lo-Fi since before the Kickstarter went up.
Mm.
Like it's been the early builds of Lo-Fi since I've been in it. I'm saving it. I want to step into the finished product so I can have that back-to-back experience, right? From bare bones to completely finished and polished. And by the way, I still have that early build installed on my machine here. I can still go in and check that build out, which is pretty cool. But no, I think that everything that we've just said about Lo-Fi will apply to agency if agency ever becomes something more, which I'm sure that at some point it will. I'm quite certain that the next project after Lo-Fi will most likely be for the Oculus Quest.
Yeah, exciting.
Yeah, very exciting. Headline: Down the Rabbit Hole adds 120 hertz support on Oculus Quest, and a new game confirmed to be coming from Cortopia Studios. So already one of the better story-driven experiences on Oculus Quest gets even better, Ruuts, as it now supports 120 hertz.
Yeah, well, that's another reason to go in there and play it again. I still want to go through it again. It was so good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is a good excuse, right? A good reason to go check it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Cortopia did confirm that they would have news soon about what they've been working on. So a new title coming from Cortopia, again, developer of Down the Rabbit Hole, as well as Wands, a talented VR studio finding their niche. I'm very curious to see what they're going to have up their sleeve next time.
Yeah, it'll be unique. I know that for sure. Delirium Drew says he has serious doubts about lo-fi coming to an actual game. That's exactly what I'm saying. Is I don't have doubts. I think the fact that he keeps releasing bits and pieces to show people he's still working on it is so that people won't have, like you, Drew, won't have doubts. So,
Well, I get what Drew's saying here. What I think what he's getting at, Roots, is will lo-fi be a game by the strictest definition of the term game? Well, we don't really know that because Blair has a very different idea of what he wants this world to be. Now, he does maintain that there will be storylines in the game. He does say that it won't have an overarching story. Like there's not going to be a story campaign, if you will. There will be many smaller side quests, for lack of a better term, that you can kind of get into, but it's not going to be like Techno Lust where you're following the story. There is going to be combat, unlike Techno Lust. There's going to be weapons that are functional in the game, and I think it is going to be a game. I don't know that you're going to be able to die in it even, but I do know that your actions are going to affect the world around you significantly. And you're a cop, and you get to role play being a cop, and you can be a good cop or a bad cop, or anything in between. So while it might not fit a lot of people's definition of a game, I think that I think that it'll be more than an experience. So I think game's really the only place we have to go with it, unless we come up with a new term.
yeah, absolutely. So we'll find out exactly what's going to happen. And what it's actually going to be, but I'm psyched to see it when it happens. So,
absolutely. Headline: No Man's Sky Prisms update brings DLSS, visual overhaul, and Roots rideable flying pets. How about that?
that's pretty cool, actually. I rode around on some, I don't know, I fed some kind of animals last night or the other night and when I was playing it, and I made a friend and I was able to mount it and ride it around, and it was cool. It was the next best thing to knuckle bumping, and I don't get to do that in this game. So I don't know, man. The DLSS seemed to make a huge difference for me, and Tiffany was saying in the chat, she said something about they delivered on their promises with free updates. That not certain that repaired any damage to their their reputation. See, I kind of argue the opposite. I think because they had a long-term vision and they took so much crap because their game was a living meme when it was first came out. Like, what are you going to do with your No Man's Sky refund? To turn that around to what they've done is like, I point to these developers when I want to say, how important it is to stick to your vision, even if it takes several years. They've made a game that shouldn't exist, and everybody said couldn't exist. When you know what I mean, I think it's just amazing.
I agree. I think that Hello Games is the definition of perseverance when it comes to the VR gaming space and the gaming space at large. I mean, these guys were a joke a decade ago when they launched this game. Not only because of the game they delivered, but the ideas that they had at the time. The game they were describing wasn't possible then. And they could have done what most developers would have done and gone on to create a new game. They're obviously a very talented studio and very capable, but that's not what they did, Roots. They're still supporting their game like it just came out last month. And I think that's commendable. I think that if we could see their sales figures, that it would show. I think that people are still buying this game now. It's like super hot. It's an evergreen. People buy it every day because it's amazing, and it's only now coming into its own as the complete experience that they described all those years ago. And I think it's just awesome. This game should be an example to studios everywhere. This is how you should support your titles.
Yeah, it's funny, Wes, because every time this game comes up when we're talking about the news, you always ask me, is this enough to get us back or get us into the game? I think it is, because it got me back into it just the other night, and I've never seen this game look so clear and crisp and good and running around, and it's so colorful, and there was all sorts of stuff going on the planet, and I was trying to find there was somebody, a stranger or something, uh some kind of beacon. I was trying to find them and just flying the ship, and it was really cool. And I just because I turned it in the whatever the easy mode or whatever, where you're not, you don't have to live, you can craft wherever you
Right.
want, but you still explore. It was really cool.
Yeah, man. We talked last week about DLSS support in No Man's Sky, and how significant that's going to be for the PCVR community. So that aspect of this update, not surprising. What we weren't expecting were the other things that came in this. They're calling it the Prisms update, and not only are they supporting DLSS, they've completely visually overhauled the entire thing. They've optimized the game graphically and made it more beautiful in the process. So now it's not only people on PC that's experiencing these gains, Roots. This game reportedly much more beautiful on PlayStation VR as well. And it was arguably even more needed on console than it was on PC. So it's an awesome thing, a great surprise, and again, an example of how you should support your titles if you're a VR studio.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure.
Headline: The Persistence Enhanced release date shifts to June 11th and will include PCVR DLSS support. Roots.
Mm.
The Persistence Enhanced was leaked a couple of months ago. Not leaked, but announced rather by Perp Games on Twitter. And I immediately contacted the developers. I said, listen, you have a great game. Everyone loves it, but no one loves your game like the VR community loves your game. It's a VR game first, and I would imagine that the core of their community are VR gamers. And I asked them point blank, will this update benefit the VR community in any way? And they very graciously and timely got back to me and said, no, this is a flat update
Hmm.
only. So now when we get this release date being pushed back by a week or two, I think that this is amazing news, because not only is it going to be supporting DLSS now, but this is going to now extend to VR as well, which it was not going to be the case as recently as a week ago. So this is a big deal for people who love the Persistence and own it on Steam.
I think it's going to become a thing for every game, because I mean, if you can get it to where even if it's not doing anything extra, just making it run better, you're gonna improve everybody's experience. And when I see this and I see the No Man's Sky news, and then also Red Dead Redemption 2 has the DLSS coming as well, right? And I just think about like how good all these games, man. It's gonna make us be able to crank everything up in that game as well. Once the mod is caught up to it, if it doesn't automatically work out of the box. But I think it's just a good time for VR, especially if you have one of these high-end cards, right?
Yeah, and here's the thought. Here's just a pure speculative thought, Roots. We've seen these modding communities and all the success that they've had implementing motion controls into flat games.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's a VR game that is probably the best example of gamepad implementation that I've experienced in a VR game. But it would be nice if you could free up your hands and use motion controllers. I don't see any reason why, if somebody were motivated in the modding community to do this, why it wouldn't be doable.
Yeah, no, I don't think that there's any reason now, especially after playing no Risk of Rain 2, and how good the movement is implemented for controls. I can imagine you do it for any game. You just have to have somebody that wants to do it. And that's what Luke Ross is talking about with Red Dead 2. He's just now rolled into the second month, and 2/3 of the people that signed up are still sticking around. And he was thanking the patrons because they see the vision, right? That they know that it's not all about just Red Dead 2. It's about all these other games that he's now going to feel inclined to work on, right? So it's kind of cool.
It's the one thing. It's the one thing PC will always have. People can go and play standalone. Again, PlayStation 5 VR is going to be probably the hottest thing in VR for a year or two when it launches. PC's always going to have the modding community, and that's one huge thing. I love these people's spirit. Their whole thing is if the AAA studios don't want to give us VR support, well, we're just going to do it ourselves. And in many cases, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between a mod and native support. It's getting that good, and Luke Ross certainly his mod's chief among those that have the highest quality standards.
Yep, absolutely.
Headline: Quest 2 propels VR headset usage on Steam to an all-time high, Roots. And just for perspective, the most recent Steam hardware survey puts the VR headset usage at right around the same percentage as people who use a 4K monitor primarily. So pretty big strides being made for PC VR, and Oculus Quest 2 by far the most used PC VR headset on the market. So it just goes back to what we were saying before, that there's going to be a trickle down effect. The popularity of standalone today is going to lead to gains in PC VR and console based VR tomorrow. These people, you get them through the door with the gateway drug, right? And then they have to move on to the harder drugs. And that's basically what we're seeing here with the Steam hardware survey.
Yeah, and it's exactly what we're talking about. Not only the Half-Life Alyx is, people hear about these AAA games that don't exist on the standalone, but they find out, oh my God, there's a mod that I can play GTA 5, whatever. And they've done it. They've done such a good job between virtual desktop and AirLink that you can do it wirelessly. You don't even the one thing that people would say, I got to use a cord though. No, you don't. Not with the Quest, man. The Quest 2 is pushing PC VR. It may not be on Oculus's plate as far as what's important to them, but the headset's clearly pushing PC VR as well. And it should tell people PC VR for the most part isn't going anywhere. Just for exactly what you said, the mods and all the different things that people can do with games. There's still a market out there for people to put a game out on PC VR. So
Right, and the minimum spec PC is becoming a more and more attainable thing now. Like a 1080 PC can run VR pretty respectably, even still today. So, and I mean, that's not that hard to acquire, even in today's atmosphere. I mean, that's what my son has, is a 1080. His computer runs just about any VR you want to play on it. So, um, again, as people's demand for high fidelity VR increases, the barriers to entry are decreasing. So Oculus Quest is going to be a boon for all VR platforms. and it's cyclical. We've said it before. It's cyclical, right? The Quest is hot right now. PSVR is going to get its time next, and I would say after PSVR, I'd say it'll be PC's turn again.
Yeah, absolutely. Lips Knox wants to know if GTA VR mod works on virtual desktop now. I have no idea. Assuming I know that it works on with a link cable, and I believe I've used it with Oculus AirLink. So I don't know. It's a good question. If anybody could answer that.
Well, I have to put it on, put that one to our team, Ruuts.
Yeah.
Find out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the ninth and final headline of the headline segment, Space Pirate Arena, coming to Oculus Quest later this year. Ruuts, I was just thinking to myself the other day, wondering if Space Pirate Arena was even still a thing. This was something that was announced during the launch window of the original Oculus Quest all those years ago, all those 2 years ago. And for those of you who don't remember, this is from the developers of Space Pirate Trainer. This is a game being developed for Oculus Quest. But as far as I know, this is going to be the first and only game that supports local multiplayer. So by using a Wi-Fi router to network the two headsets together, you'll have two players playing together in the same space. And it's something that I, quite frankly, would have expected a lot more of by now. But we haven't seen it yet. This is still poised to be the first game of its kind, and apparently very much alive and well, and confirmed by the developer to be coming later this year.
Yeah, I still think of what it's weird with space wise though, right? I mean, who has that much space? At least from the video I was watching earlier, where there's a big warehouse, and that would be cool. I guess it would just scale, and you would use locomotion instead of moving around physically, right? So
10 meters by 10 meters was the numbers that they were throwing around on Twitter this week, Ruuts. That's about 30 feet by 30 feet. Pretty big area.
that is pretty big. Yeah.
Absolutely. But that's it, folks. That wraps up our inaugural edition of Headlines. Let us know in the comments down below if you enjoyed this segment, Ruuts. I don't think we've ever moved through 9 topics as quickly as we did that. Generally, that's a whole show for us, 3 hours.
Yeah, I would have. I had to bite my tongue a couple times, for sure.
Anyway, no more biting your tongue, Ruuts. Now it's time to get into the meat of the program, what we do best. Let's move on to this week's big stories. And first of all, in a surprise blog post this past week, Sony put on its second PSVR showcase of the year. The previous installment showcased new information on upcoming PSVR titles and included the reveal announcement of Doom 3 VR for PlayStation. During this week's showcase, Sony spotlighted 7 titles heading to the PSVR platform this year, showing that even the next generation is coming soon. OG PSVR platform is not dead just yet. So again, 7 titles announced. We're going to go through 5 of them. Here we've talked about Puzzle Bobble VR before, and then the other one I think we're going to skip on is the Winds and Leaves title. I think we're going to wait until we have a little more info on that one before we give opinions on it. But these other 5 announcements, Ruuts, things that I couldn't possibly go without mentioning, right? These games, all of them, so exciting that I couldn't possibly, if I was still camping, Ruuts, I would have to just pack up my shit and come home to talk about this stuff. It's really exciting times for PlayStation VR and VR at whole.
Yeah, PSVR Underground says we will never die, and that is true. That was just a rumor started by people, fake news, that PSVR was dying. You know what's crazy is I can't even imagine slumming it on this game on a PS5 VR, because you'll have a cable hooked up to it. Oh wait, that's I prefer that cable, man. I'm looking forward to the cable because the games in general are going to look so good. This looks really good, right?
Yeah, so what we're looking at here, friends, is Sniper Elite VR. The biggest single piece of news that came from the PSVR showcase was the release date reveal for the long-awaited World War II first-person shooter Sniper Elite VR. Rebellion, developer of the Sniper Elite franchise has announced that it's bringing Sniper Elite VR to all supported platforms on July 8th, 2021. Only a few weeks away, Ruuts, a little over a month. The game, which puts you in the shoes of an Italian anti-fascist resistance fighter in World War II, is simultaneously launching on Oculus Quest, Oculus Rift, Steam VR headsets, as well as PlayStation VR. The single player game focuses on first person action and takes you across a linear campaign with 18 missions as you rid Sicily of the Nazi U boat menace. In addition to the franchise's iconic X ray kill cam, the game also offers free movement locomotion for greater immersion and, of course, a host of World War II weaponry besides your trusty sniper rifle. A new trailer for the shooter showcases some of the gameplay, and that's what you're looking at here. Ruuts, we've been excited about this game for the longest time. I specifically remember talking about it on the 2020 show 6 months ago with Gamertag VR, just how much we were looking forward to this and the dilemma that we have. This might be the first game, Ruuts, that I buy on two platforms at launch, like, because I want that extra clarity that PCVR provides with the newer hardware and the beefy graphics card. But at the same time, you kind of have a feeling that this game was designed around the aim controller, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It looks amazing too. Technoglitch says no, just no multiplayer question mark. This is my thought. I don't know for sure, and I'm sure we'll find out in a second. But my, Metal, I want the game that I wanted when Medal of Honor came out, and if that means there's no multiplayer, I want the story. I want the amazing World War II game, and I just, you know what I mean? I could care less if we got enough shooters in multiplayer, dude. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that if they don't have a mode, it couldn't be really good, but that just seems to cloud things up, you know?
Yeah, no confirmation one way or the other on multiplayer support for this. I would be inclined to think that at the very least there's going to be competitive leaderboard modes. And shout out to AJ, PSVR Underground, for pointing it out during the Without Parole stream the other day, that if you watch this trailer closely, there's a frame or two in there where you can see the guy shooting the enemies and point totals popping up from them as he kills them. Which would lead us to believe that are going to be alternate game modes, right? Arcade style replayability. And I got to imagine, if that's the case, that there's probably at the very least, again, going to be some kind of competitive leaderboard modes at play here.
I just want an amazing story that's going to pull me through it. And, you know what I mean? That's just the game we've wanted. And this has a very good potential to be it.
Yeah, again, this is another one of those games. Like, it goes back to what you were saying a moment ago about Blair Renaud and Lo-Fi. They have taken their sweet time with this one. Like, this is one of those games that went quiet for long stretches, and people were questioning whether or not it had been canceled. I mean, it's been in development for that long. But I mean, they're touting this as a triple AVR shooter. Like, these are their words. So, and this is a very highly regarded franchise in the world of traditional gaming. So I expect that this is going to be one of the best titles of the year and a contender for Game of the Year. When we're talking about Game of the Year at the end of the year, I think that we're going to be talking about Sniper Elite VR.
I know, it's crazy too, because we're talking about PlayStation VR, and up until now, and still is kind of Hitman. It's kind of run away with it, right? But it's going to have some contenders very soon here.
Yeah. I mean, Hitman. I mean, that game, it's so amazing, and there's so much content, and they're adding content to it. That game might be the overall game of the year this year, but
we'll see.
Sniper Elite says not so fast, man, because again, this thing was kind of marketed in the beginning as a PlayStation game. Like the other support was kind of they kind of ramped the promotion of the other platforms later. But initially, this thing was revealed as a PSVR game with aim controller support, and I kind of feel like that's the foundation upon the rest of the game was built. So I think that we're going to get the kind of immersion in this game that we don't see very often in these games. And I'm not saying that that it's going to be better on PlayStation versus PC. Obviously, I think both platforms and Quest too. It's coming to Oculus Quest as well. I think that every platform is going to have its advantages and its disadvantages and your trade-offs. But what I think is going to be common uh, a common thing among all the platforms is I think that this game is going to be highly immersive and easy to play, and I think it's going to have an engaging story-based adventure. And above all, really, that's what most of us want, right? I mean, uh, I think it was Cortopia Studios that recently did a poll on Twitter, and they listed all these different types of games, right, or things, aspects of VR games, and asked people what they were most, interested in. And they had action, they had adventure, they had rhythm games, they had multiplayer, they had the whole gamut of different types of games and different aspects. And action, adventure, story driven, this stuff was at the top by far of the poll. You know what was at the bottom, Roots? Rhythm games, multiplayer games. We have enough of this stuff. Now, that said, we need to make a distinction for co-op, because co-op multiplayer and versus multiplayer are two totally different things. And VR needs more co-op multiplayer, and we're starting to see the market react to this by giving us the games we've been asking for. But people are kind of getting over the whole versus multiplayer thing. And I'm good games are good games, don't get me wrong. And if a good multiplayer game comes out, I'll be into checking it out. But it's not what I want. First and foremost, I want to be immersed in a world, and I want to be told a story. And if I can bring a friend along with me, that makes it even better.
Yeah, especially one as cool as this one looks, right? Like PD says, it could be the Medal of Honor game we were hoping for. That's my hope for sure. And and I think that every time I play one of these shooter games that are like this, I want more story. I want something to really make me feel like I'm immersed and in there instead of running around just killing stuff because it's what I'm supposed to do. I want to feel like I'm really in this story, and I think this is going to be amazing.
I would tend to agree with you. This looks amazing. It looks like there's going to be a lot of focus on the gunplay here. Obviously, with it being Sniper Elite, it's probably going to be the case. And lots of different weapons on display during this trailer. I don't know if you noticed, but it's not all sniping, not by a long shot. And explosions and different environmental things going on here. It just looks like a AAA VR game, Roots. And I know the without parole guys were kind of debating the other day, well, what the price might be and what people hopes that what the price would be at launch. And I'm here to say I hope that this is a 40, 50, $60 game, because I think whatever they price it at, it's likely going to be worth it. So these are the games we want, right? We've got enough $25 5-hour games. Let's get a 10, 15-hour immersive AAA showpiece in VR. These are the games we live for.
Yeah, $100. No, that's too much. $40 I think sounds about right, but I think up to 60 if it's. Oh God, I got thunder. Real thunder. Anyway, 60 could be good if it's really long enough and really good. For sure, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. The whole point is if the price matches the quality, then the price is irrelevant to me.
Yep.
Like I would like for it to cost more if it's a price to quality ratio that works for me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's worth paying for sure if it's good.
All right. From there, well, let's look at it this way. PSVR's library of exclusives probably the single biggest reason for the platform's longevity, right? It's the reason why PSVR is still viable today is that library. Second to none, the PSVR library of exclusives. And this year's PSVR showcases have shown that this library is not finished just yet. During this week's showcase, In Dreams released a new trailer for PSVR exclusive Frack, showing off more of its fast-paced action. The fresh gameplay trailer includes a look at a level called Power Grab, revealing more cover-focused gunfights, free and fluid skiing, running, and climbing. Frack is said to support PS Move and also boast, quote, fully enhanced gameplay for PS5. So that, as much as anything here, excites me, Ruuts, because one of the most disappointing things that I've experienced as a PlayStation 5 owner is that Sony really hasn't taken the reins off it and allowed developers of existing PlayStation VR games to enhance them for PS5. Now, if you have done it, you know, Dreams is pretty enhanced. You know, Star Wars Squadrons enhanced for PS5. Blood and Truth, probably the best example of a game enhanced for PlayStation 5. Well, the team over at In Dreams, not mincing words here, this game is going to be fully enhanced for PlayStation 5, and it's going to allow those of us who bought PS5 for VR to recoup some of that cost that we put forward 6 months ago.
Yeah, it's good and bad, Wes, because I don't own one, so it's not good in that respect. But it's awesome. It's actually good to, it makes to me it should be a no brainer if you're able to. Definitely, why would you not want to enhance it for the, it's especially if you're one of the few, especially if it's enhanced on day one for sure. This game looks amazing, and it's one of the games that kind of makes me a little sour that I don't have PlayStation VR because I want to play this game, Wes.
Well, I will maintain that this game is going to be one of the reasons that you buy back in. You're going to pull the trigger on the PS5 whenever you see one, and I think that this game is going to be one of the reasons why you're going to do
Yeah, but how do I keep myself from selling my PlayStation 5? I slap my hand.
that.
No, Roots. You can double your money. It's not worth it. Fracked. Just keep
Right.
thinking fracked. So
Money's just paper, bro. PS5 is an experience box.
that's true. And Derail just seems to want everybody to own one. So it'd be a lot easier to get these days.
Yeah, man. For those of you who don't know, what he's referring to is Derail, one of our community members, constantly posting links to get a PS5 in our Discord, and people are having more success. It seems like, Roots. People who are switched on are actually able to get the consoles over the last month or so. So if this is something that you find interesting, maybe you should click that little link down there in the description and join our Discord community.
Yeah. Why are you not there already? That's what I want to know. I question your soul if you're not in our Discord.
But no, I agree with what you're saying here. This game looks amazing, and it looks like it's that same kind of unique gameplay loop that In Dreams has become known for, right? I mean, we had kind of the same thing with their last game, Phantom Covert Ops, a completely unique concept to VR that we'd never seen before. You know, playing an entire story campaign seated in a kayak. And it's a shooter to boot. It's not a kayaking game, it's a shooter, stealth shooter. And while there is some stealth at play here, the gameplay for Frack looks to be a little bit more in your face, a little bit more action packed, but every bit as unique as Phantom Covert Ops was, because it seems that a significant portion of this game is going to be on skis, Roots. So talk about fast paced, right?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, it's definitely what I want, especially going back and forth. That was one of the things that we said we wanted more of in Covert Ops, is we wanted to get out of the thing and get on now we get the best of both worlds, right? And who doesn't want to feel like James Bond skiing down a slope shooting people? I just think it looks really cool.
But here's the thing, from the outside, people might see things like the kayak and the skis and say it's a gimmick. That's just a gimmick. And then, the more seasoned eye may look at that and say, well, that's innovative gameplay. That's original gameplay. But what you realize once you get into these games is it's not just about innovative gameplay. These sorts of mechanics, if they're done well, they ratchet up the immersion to an all new level, right? Phantom Covert Ops on the PC, one of the most immersive experiences I've had in VR, and I don't think that that's in any small part due to the way the game's put together. That it is a kayaking game, and you're in the water, and they can do so much with the lighting and the sound effects because you're in that water to ratchet up the immersion level. And I think that now this is pure speculation on my part, but I think that we're going to find things like this in Fracked as well, which is going to again immerse the player. It's going to serve not only as a fun gameplay loop, but there are going to be things about it that that will allow you to feel presence in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, well, not me because I don't own it. Somebody's saying now, why don't if I got the details in the Discord, why I don't own one? So I haven't just pulled the trigger and spent the money. Bills, real life bills. That's
Right.
what I would have to say.
Right. And right. Well, I mean, well, we all understand that, right? Money is not it's a finite resource. I guess not everyone save their bailout money or whatever, the stimulus, right?
Yeah. I still have yet to get any. So
Well, there you go. Well, that explains it.
yeah.
Anyway, Ruuts, looking at this new gameplay trailer that they dropped during the PSVR showcase, we do learn a lot about what the gameplay is going to be like in Fracked, and pleasantly surprised here, Ruuts. I see a lot of blood and truth in this game, not only with the elaborate set pieces, the high paced action, but there's a lot of cover based sequences in this trailer, like going from one spot to the next, to the next, to the next, always hiding behind cover. It really is very reminiscent of Blood and Truth, and I think that is a good thing because that's one of the best titles on PlayStation VR.
Yeah, I think it looks the action looks amazing. It just looks like action packed story that's being told. Apparently, I guess I'm assuming there's a good story to it, but it just looks really cool.
Yeah, it looks like an action movie. It looks like you're going to be able to live an action movie. Now, I do have some questions though. It seems like we're going to have to suspend disbelief on a couple of occasions because I see a guy running. He grabs onto a helicopter, he drops off from it, and now he's got skis on. So like, that's a little weird how that happened. Maybe he has like crazy like super James Bond shoes that turn into skis or something. But we're definitely some questions to be answered here as we finally get our hands on this one.
Yeah, well, it's suspending belief on everything, right? I think about that every time I watch somebody fall out a window or whatever, and they're hanging on this thing for like 3, 4, 5 minutes, and most people would be able to last about 15 seconds.
Right,
You know what I mean? Like literally, there's no way you could hang on that long, but movie sequences do it all the time. I guess it's kind of like, you're in an action movie and, you suspend belief in a lot of ways, right? But I think it looks at my thing that a lot of people, for whatever reason, get turned off. They cell shaded. I think it looks cool, man. I love the way that these worlds look, and I think it looks like it's gonna be really cool.
Gamertag VR joining us in chat says, go gadget skis, obviously.
Yeah. Well, we have no idea, man. Nanotech, dude. The drones came flying out. Who knows? We got technology for days in this world these days, right?
Yeah, In Dreams VR says he's always got the man on his back, and magic.
Yeah. Well, a good like look at Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible, the way some of the things he does, man. And you're like, what the hell? There's no way.
Right.
But he's just
Right.
that good.
Yeah, anytime you watch any kind of action movie, you're suspending disbelief. Anytime you watch WWE, you're suspending disbelief.
What?
I'm not taking issue here. Actually, I would prefer these fantastical games to ultra realistic ones. A lot of the time anyway. I want to feel like a superhero badass, Roots.
You're saying wrestling's not real, Wes?
How dare you?
How dare you, man?
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
I had a quote I was going to bring up from the it was Chris Richardson, I think, wasn't it? In the chat. Let me see here. No, Phil Yarn. Phil Yarn. I want to play Phantom Covert Op so bad. Yeah, man. I checked it out recently on my HP Reverb G2 playing through Revive, and it was amazing. Just breathtaking. So yeah, I feel you, bro. I guess you don't have that one, or I certainly would recommend that you pick it up next time it goes on sale if you don't.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I guess we should move on. During the showcase, we saw the premiere of the second trailer for the upcoming VR time travel adventure Wanderer, showcasing new gameplay and new locations. Providing a darker look at what Wanderer is going to offer, the trailer gives us a sneak peek at an ancient civilization setting alongside some of the puzzles that will stand in your way. From the looks of it, the game will be puzzle-centric and structured around different mini-games of sorts, derived from the various eras that the player will visit. Wanderer, due to launch this year on PSVR, PCVR, and Oculus Quest. Roots, we've said it many times. One of the coolest things that I've ever experienced in VR, albeit not nearly enough, is time travel. One of the coolest things about bringing yourself into a game and into a game world is being able to experience what it's like to feel presence in these other eras. And generally, when we talk about games that allow you to time travel, we're talking about games that are set during a certain era. But with Wanderer, we're getting something very different here. We're getting a game that's going to allow us to visit multiple different historical eras in time. And, I'm sure it's going to have a compelling story and a compelling gameplay loop. But even if it didn't, I have to think that there's a lot of value just in the atmosphere and the environment with this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the things that you've even said about Red Dead Redemption 2. What is cool about it is just going to that time period, right? And time travel is something that we get the most out of for VR. We can't go back in time. We can't go forward in time, but in VR, we can actually feel like we went back to these historical dates. And I think if you can do it well, I think it's going to be an amazing story, right?
Yeah, it certainly seems to be, right? And it seems like they're not, they're pulling out all the stops here to make this thing a very high quality, polished experience. I don't know how long it's been in development, but judging by the looks at it, they've probably been working at this thing for a while, and it looks like the story, at least on the surface, appears to be well thought out. And you talk about suspending disbelief, huh? I'm sure that there's going to be quite a lot of that going on here.
Yeah, absolutely. Gamer tags, know who else likes to jump through time?
My mom.
Yeah, she does. But
Sony, Paradise Decay in the chat. Sony needs to change the quote to VR has no limits. Well, I mean that we're certainly approaching a time where VR has no limits, right?
yeah, I want the holodeck, Wes. I want to go on there and just lose myself in that world. Be cool.
It's coming, bro. It's coming. Just stay alive, and we'll eventually get there.
Well, hey, that's a good thing. They're advancing life expectancy as well, they say. So
Yeah,
live
yeah.
forever.
That's. Can you imagine when you think about how much the technology has changed from the time we were children to right now? Can you imagine when our kids are our age, what it's going to be like?
Imagine how that's changed from when your kids were born to right now. That's such a short time compared to when we were born to right now. Yeah, it's absolutely going to be crazy.
Yeah, I didn't think that, I've always wanted to experience virtual reality since I was, a young man, and I never expected that it would get as good as it is now in my lifetime. So, going forward, this is all bonus for me, right? The more the more advances and the better it gets, it's all just bonus from this point forward. Um, and Wanderer, again, the ability to, uh, experience that single player story driven adventure that we all want, and do so while traveling through different uh, real historical eras, and encounter real historical figures. Um, it's going to be one of a kind experience, at least at the time that it launches.
And this is how privileged our kids are compared to us when we were a kid. Paradise Decay says when he was a boy, he was lucky to have a wooden top and a piece of string. And Wes's kids are running around with multiple quests, and you know what I mean? Like our kids have all this technology to play and grow up with. It's just such an amazing time, right? I can't imagine a 10-year-old Ruuts playing VR. Oh my God, I would have never came out.
Yeah, yeah, I know. And then to my kids, it's just like another thing, right? Like, if you would think that they would just play it VR all day, every day, but they don't. They occasionally come in here and want to check it out, but it's just like another thing for them.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Delirium Drew, Wes, our kids will be lucky if the world ain't in chaos. And dude, the world's in chaos now.
30
The world
minutes.
was in chaos 30 years ago. We used to drill, getting under our desks and putting our books on our head, because somehow that was going to save us from a nuclear bomb getting dropped. The world has been in chaos my entire life, and it's going to be no different in 30 years. So,
Yeah, it's gonna be chaotic. A good chaos.
Gamertag VR coming through with the £2 donation. I guess that's pounds. I don't know my world currency roots. He says sick AF, but that made me laugh so hard. Thank you. Well, thank you for the support. Thanks for showing up, and
Yeah.
thanks for supporting. We appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know what we said, but that was sick. But I'm sure it's out there.
All right. So what have we talked about? We've talked about Sniper Elite. We've talked about Fracked. We've talked about Wanderer, Roots. I can't think of another title that's coming this year that excites me more than After the Fall. Due to launch sometime this summer, we're steadily learning more about the anticipated co-op VR zombie shooter. Crucially, the game supports up to 4 players playing together, including cross-platform multiplayer between all the supported platforms, be it PCVR, PSVR, or Oculus Quest. In the latest footage released from developer Vertigo Games, we learned about the zombies called the Snowbreed, the setting, 1980s Los Angeles, and some of the combat and special enemies. Players take on the role of harvest runners, survivors of the apocalypse that are brave enough to venture out into the frozen wasteland to scavenge for supplies. Vertigo Games says that players can expect to be equipped with the usual slew of handguns, shotguns, and rifles, and is promising, quote, a weapon handling experience designed to satisfy even the most veteran VR players. The studio has also mentioned 3 special snowbreed that are mutated beyond the usual type. The Eater is an enormous, revolting snowbreed type that will annihilate everything in its path if it explodes. Your best chance against this terrifying creature is to keep your distance and have a precise aim whenever he's getting too close. The Juggernaut is different from the regular snowbreed. This hulking slab of undead muscle only has one goal: grab and pummel you into dust. Getting hit by him is a one-hit KO. So listen to your team and keep an eye out for him. It's a high priority target on your list. The Smasher is a large and highly aggressive enemy type. When these guys show up, you better steer clear and really work together to take them out. As you progress, you'll encounter different variations of the Smasher. So here we are, Roots. After the fall, another game that we've been looking forward to for the longest time, and a perfect example of what we were talking about. This is going to be a story-driven adventure game, action adventure. Um, but it's also a multiplayer game, but it's not the usual type of multiplayer that we get. This is a game that's going to allow our friends to play with us. We're going to be able to work together to progress through a story campaign. And this is the type of multiplayer that we all want.
Yeah, I want them. I want the movements of these zombies, man. I want to see a horde of them coming at me, creeping on the ceiling, and all the. I mean, this is what we've wanted out of a game like this. Now, I do notice that says footage captured on PCVR. I want to see the footage from the PlayStation. I guess they haven't really released that quite yet, but man, I really am psyched for this, and I think it's going to be amazing. And it makes me wonder. We haven't checked it out yet, but the GTFO mod for the PCVR, right? People say that game is so hard, Wes, that they've put like 10 to 20 hours into it and they still haven't beat the first level. And it really makes me want to try it, right? But so it makes me wonder how hard this is going to be. I don't think it's going to be quite that on that level. So I don't know. I definitely intrigued, and I think this game's going to be amazing.
Well, I hope it's challenging, right? I hope we don't just run through it because you have friends with you. And knowing Vertigo games, I'm sure that it will be. The difficulty was balanced quite well in Arizona
Mm,
Sunshine, and it
true.
provided plenty of challenge, even if you had a friend with you. But it wasn't too hard, right? It was just the right amount. So this game's been in development for a long time, and Vertigo Games is one of the top studios in VR. So I'm confident that this game's going to be a blast.
Phil Yarn says he wants a beta for this game. If it doesn't exist, it needs to exist, and he wants to be on that list. My assumptions. It does.
I,
I'm assuming there is one.
I'm assuming that we're going to have this game much sooner than any of us really expect.
Wow.
This game is slated for summer. We still don't have a release date for it, but I don't think it's very long at all. Like I think that we're going to see this by the end of July. Uh, we're going to have this game in our hands, and again, commendable that they're attempting the cross-platform launch here. This is going to come out on a PSVR in lockstep with all of the other platforms. And generally when you have these type of cross-platform launches, it's a bit scary for the PSVR crowd because they don't know are they going to get something more like the Quest version or something more like the PC version. Oftentimes, developers will take the easy route, and rather than develop a dedicated PlayStation version of a game, they'll just port the Quest version in, which underutilizes the resources that they have available to them from the console. But I don't think that that's going to be the case here. I think that they demonstrated with Arizona Sunshine that they're quite capable of developing a version that's optimized around the PSVR hardware. But beyond that, this game was in development for PlayStation VR before they started developing it for Quest. So even if they wanted to, uh, I think that they likely had already built the foundation of the PlayStation version of this game before they ever even started working on Quest. So I think that we're going to see something similar here to what we saw with Arizona Sunshine, kind of a bare bones thing on Quest, a much better looking thing on PlayStation VR, and then an absolutely clear and beautiful experience on PC.
Yeah, absolutely. Phil Yarn says Anthony was kind of being a negative Nancy on this yesterday, and I didn't get a chance to see that yet. But I think it's all perspective of everything, right? Like either you're negative in the overall VR scope, or you're positive. I see so many positive things going on, and like you said, I mean, Arizona Sunshine. We forget that that amazing game was developed almost 6 years ago. You know what I mean? I don't think the developers have gotten worse since they made that game. They've just gotten better. So I'm psyched to see this. There's so much going on in these games. I think it's gonna be amazing. But I guess only time will tell, right?
Yeah, yeah, and we love Anthony. Quite an interesting character in our space. He is interesting personality. Um, yeah, he'll be critical of a game like After the Fall or next gen hardware like the PSVR 2 spec sheet. But I will remind everyone that he also recommended to everyone Squishies and Arca's Path. So if he doesn't want to play After the Fall, let him go play Squishies, and I'm sure he'll be perfectly happy with that.
Arcus Path was pretty cool. You got to roll that marble with your head and stuff. I did enjoy that. Forgot
Yeah,
about that game.
yeah, yeah. The library is so expansive. So many different types of games. I don't think I ever even tried Arca's Path, to be honest.
It's actually pretty cool. I liked it. It's different. I want a legit Marble Madness, but it's definitely different.
Yeah. Well, that's always well, not always, but that's often a good thing, right? To have a unique gameplay concept.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I think Anthony was dead on with Arcus Path.
Meow Meow the Gamer Cat, with PSVR, you only have to get it running at 1080p max, so you really ought to be able to have the non-resolution graphics quality way higher. Yeah, it's wizardry, right? What they're able to do, the way that they render out these PSVR games, they do upsample and they use like motion smoothing and a lot of smoke and mirrors, but the finished product in that headset is way better than you would think just from looking at the spec sheet of the hardware. And I think that After the Fall, coming from a experienced developer like Vertigo Games, is going to be no exception to this rule. I think it's going to be like Blood and Truth. When you get in there and you put in, if you have a PlayStation 5 and you boot up Blood and Truth and you put that headset on, you're like, how is this possible, right? This headset is 960 per by 1080 per eye, but that's not what my eyes are seeing here. What's going on? And I think that that's going to largely be the case here with this game as well.
Yeah, I agree. Apparently, Cloud Rift is a good Marble Madness spiritual successor. So I need to find out what Cloud Rift is and try it.
Well, there you go. Well, we learn something new every day, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, one more title I wanted to bring attention to from the PSVR showcase. No PSVR showcase would be complete, Ruuts, without a new game reveal. And this awesome reveal is sure to check one off of a lot of people's VR wish list. Arashi, Castles of Sin, is an upcoming Tenchu-like stealth combat game set in feudal Japan, where you take on ruthless bandits in an effort to recapture castles that rightfully belong to your noble house of Arashi. Seattle-based developer Endeavor One says in a PlayStation blog post that Arashi was, quote, built from the ground up for VR, and that it includes state-of-the-art movement and a deadly arsenal of feudal-era weapons. Quote, assume the role of Kenshiro, an elite shinobi and the last surviving son of the noble house Arashi. Castles across feudal Japan have been captured by ruthless bandits, the 6 Oni of Iga. With your wolf companion Haru at your side, exact revenge for their merciless destruction and reclaim the castles for good. It is a time of warring states, and the land cries out for justice. It's up to you to deliver it. Arashi Castles of Sin is slated to land on PSVR headset sometime this summer. Ruuts, VR's been around what now? We've had 5 good years of mainstream consumer VR. Why haven't we had our Ninja stealth game yet? This is crazy that we're only now getting this game. But with that said, man, this thing looks pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely going to allow you to be that martial artist, I guess, right? For lack of a better term that I can't think of. Looks like it's amazing. Looks like it's going to be very action packed, right?
Yeah, you look like a a samurai,
Yeah,
right?
samurai.
You're
Yeah.
playing the role of a samurai here, and Libnox VR in the chat says it. What everyone's saying, this looks like Tenchu, and everybody loves Tenchu. So kind of crazy that it's taken this long for us to get this type of game in VR. Now, with that said, as far as we know, and it could change tomorrow, this is a PlayStation VR exclusive, a third party PlayStation VR exclusive, which is interesting because visually, I mean, this is a pretty beautiful game. If this is like this being captured on a PlayStation, I mean, these guys must really know what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely is, artistically looks amazing, and hopefully the action is as good as it sounds, or I mean, as it looks. And yeah, looks good.
Yeah, it looks like you're going to have, it's largely a stealth game, but when you do move, it gets fast paced quickly. One of the things that they're touting with this game is their locomotion style. The movement in the game is one of the pillars that the game is built on. So it'll be interesting to check out how they've managed to tackle locomotion with the move controllers, because again, no thumbsticks here, right? This is all button based, or maybe something else that we're not privy to.
Yeah, absolutely. Eddie C says, you're in a room full of 30 somethings when 10 shoe gets brought up.
Right.
So yeah, it's
But
definitely good.
one of the things that I noticed about this game description and game footage routes that I thought might specifically appeal to you is your little wolf companion there. You have a little buddy that apparently isn't just aesthetic. Like the wolf actually plays a role in the gameplay here.
Oh, really? It looks like you get to pet the wolf, and I was thinking, how cool would it be if you had sensors on your hands and you could feel, the hair just brushing it. I love to brush hair, so it's good, right?
Acid X in the chat. Sony definitely have some cool stuff going on in PSVR 2. To which Delirium Drew replies, "These are all PSVR 1 games. We haven't seen anything for PSVR 2 yet. So cheers to the future." Absolutely. That's the amazing thing. All of these games, all 5 of them that we've mentioned here, I mean, hype level 10 for each and every one of them. And these are PlayStation VR 1 games. And we all know that this is kind of PSVR swan song, right? This is it. Generally, when you talk about consoles, PS4 by example, you don't get a lot in the last year. They space out a few big releases. I mean, you get good games as they begin to move on to the next generation. But it seems like PSVR in 2021 better than PSVR in 2020.
Yeah, yeah, and we haven't even seen, like you said, PSVR 2, so it is a good future, I think.
Meow Meow the Gamer Cat. I hope you can turn into or possess the wolf dog. Yeah, I think uh, the proper term for that is a warg. Hopefully, you get to be a warg, Roots.
Yeah, you know who else likes to possess the wolf dog?
My mom!
Hell yeah, she does.
Garage Collective, God of War 2 on PlayStation VR 2. Hell yes. Or maybe saying God of War 2 on PlayStation 2. I don't know, man.
Yeah, either way, God of War's good.
Yeah, well, I think what we're alluding to here is a recent statement from Jim Ryan that the next generation VR from Sony is going to be supported by games and experiences that have become synonymous with PlayStation. So basically, what he's saying there is they're unlike PSVR 1. The next iteration is going to be supported by some of their big guns, some of those globally recognized titles. We didn't get one of those Roots. We didn't get one of those for PSVR 1. So it's going to be really interesting times to see what we're going to get this next generation.
Absolutely.
Eddie C, I want me Uncharted VR. You know what, man? I want Insomniac to bring Edge of Nowhere to PlayStation.
Oh
I think
God.
PSVR 1 could run that game, and I think that the PSVR community would be blown away by it. It's like you took Uncharted and froze it. You threw it in the freezer and added in some horror elements, and then you would have Edge of Nowhere.
Yeah, that game needs to come to PlayStation VR. It's so good.
Indreams VR says Kill VR says what? What? Oh man, Resistance VR. Oh, we've started down the rabbit hole now, Ruuts. We have the chat popping off with the possibilities now
They're endless.
that are coming from Jim Ryan's statement. I'm just going to go ahead and say it now, like I've said it like many times before. I want. I lost my train of thought reading the chat here. I want Infamous. Infamous VR is what I want. Like, I don't know if you've ever played Infamous, Roots.
I did. I think it would be
dude,
cool.
how awesome would that be in VR?
It'd be awesome. You could do it from a first person perspective as well, or even the third person. Edge of Nowhere shows you a third person would be just as good. Same thing with what's it called that Scion just played through.
Yeah, Hellblade.
Yeah, Hellblade. It was still an amazing game, whether it was third person or not. Everybody thinks everything has to be first person. It really doesn't. You're still in there. You're still immersed. You're still in the world. It's just a different perspective of the character, right?
Garage Collective says, I would so play Wipeout VR.
Yeah, they need to bring that in.
Sure. Yeah, I think so too. No, but could you imagine from a first person's perspective, the locomotion in Infamous, that grinding the power cables to traverse the city at high speeds? That would be nuts.
I think it'd be amazing.
All right. Anyway, that's going to wrap up our first topic of the day, PlayStation VR Showcase. So much more happened this week, though, in the land of VR, and namely Yuki. Yuki is an upcoming VR bullet hell roguelike from Arvor Immersive, the studio behind the Pixel Rip games. This past week, the studio released a new gameplay trailer showing how players will control the game's character by flying them around with their hands like an action figure. In the game, the main character is effectively attached to the player's hand, which means you'll need to guide them by maneuvering your hand through bullet-laden battlefields. In fact, the premise of the game is that the character is an action figure, and the player is literally holding them and flying them around like a kid with a vivid imagination. Yuki also features classic roguelike elements. When players are defeated, they'll be able to improve their abilities with power-ups and new weapons to make themselves stronger for the next run. The studio cites inspiration from classics like Star Fox and promises the game will, quote, challenge the player's spatial awareness and precise reflexes across multiple levels, each filled to the brim with procedurally placed enemies, obstacles, and bullets. Yuki is set to launch this summer on Oculus Quest and PCVR with a PSVR release planned for later this year. Ruuts. I think everyone who's excited to play Yuki needs to check out Space Cats with Lasers.
Very similar, right? This thing looks amazing. And if you played through the other games that they made, they're clearly doing a niche, man, of these arcade games, making you feel like you're in there, right? I think this thing looks amazing. And I used to love this type of a game where you, like you said, with Space Cat with Lasers, where you've got all these things coming out at you and you're moving your thing around. This just looks very super cool.
Yeah, this is a bullet hell in the truest sense, although it's not first person. I'm sure a lot of the VR purists are going to come out and say that this isn't a real VR game because you're not in the eyes of the superhero down there. But this is a bullet hell in the truest sense. When you see all these projectiles coming, I see Returnal on the screen in front of me. This is the same type of stuff that I'm facing when I play Returnal. It also puts me in the mind of a game like Blasters of the Universe, which is maybe the best bullet hell game in VR. But again, we've week after week after week here have kind of come around on the roguelike in VR, right? It's become something, one of my least favorite uh, genres of game as a traditional gamer, has become one of my most played and favorite genres inside of VR. And I think that they're saying all the right stuff here with Yuki to pique my interest to the max.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be amazing. I love bullet hell games. I love games that you feel like you're trying to control the uncontrollable. Things are all over the place, and you're just trying to stay alive, right? Super cool. The gameplay is very addictive, and the fact that you're upgrading all your stuff as you go along, doesn't matter if you die. Your guy's becoming more powerful over time, right? And so you're actually benefiting from it long term. So
Right, like the persistence, like you have to die to move forward, and I think that's kind of what they're going for here.
yeah, somebody said this is like shooting Skies Overdrive to some extent. I think that this is just taking it to the next level. It really does look like, all the games that we played back in the day that were like this. Like you got sucked into it, and now you've got your superhero, and you get to be a part of it. And every bullet hell game that I've ever played, with the exception of the VR mod of Risk of Rain 2, is a third person. So, like you said, it's true to form. So,
Yeah, yeah, and it's going to be cool because I mean, I'm sure by uh, by allowing the player to control the character one to one with your hand, it's going to allow them to create some very challenging scenarios. I mean, you kind of have to, as intense as bullet hells can get, as a developer, you imagine that they have to kind of pull their punches a little bit due to the limitations that come from using a gamepad for movement. Well, that limitation is effectively being removed here through the use of 6 DOF hand controls and having the character literally in your hand. So, with that said, I'm sure that the bullet hell scenarios are going to become uh, intense, probably at a level like we've never seen in VR before.
yeah, absolutely. Especially if you're moving your hand around like that. I think this just looks like it's going to be a banger. It's going to be just as good as their others, for sure.
That's the cool thing here. Like, you know, we can say all these buzzwords like roguelike and bullet hell, and all of that certainly applies, to this game, but this is an Arvor game, which means certain things are going to be present, and chief among those things, a heavy dose of retro nostalgia and a very colorful aesthetic. And I mean, just by looking at this thing, I mean, if you didn't already know that it was an Arvor game, I'm sure it wouldn't take you very long to guess just from looking.
It's probably going to have a cool story as well, right? A backstory for this superhero.
Oh, I'm sure. Very creative. The team there at Arvor and Anna specifically. I'm sure this seems like one of her brainchilds, right? This seems like this come from the same uh, the same foundations that the Pixel Rip series has come from. Um, and it's probably, I'd say that her influence is, if not directly responsible, is certainly all over it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Scion asking Garage Collective if he has grip for PCVR, and he says he has it, but he only has the flat version. Well, you know what? They are one and the same, my friend. If you have grip on PC at all, then you can play it in VR, and you should. It's pretty awesome.
Only way to play that game.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, the only good way, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, just wanted to bring a little attention to this upcoming game. Ruuts, too many games. These are all summertime. Like everything we've talked about today, summertime, all of it. It's going to be a jam pack. I don't know if you remember, it wasn't maybe last year or the year before, but there was a 2 or 3 month stretch where we had 2 or 3 games a week. Great games, just on top of the other,
Mhm.
the next one. I think we're about to experience one of those periods again.
Yeah, somebody was saying something about that, that a lot of content creators need to remember that not everybody has access to play, all these 10, 20 new games coming out. I don't know exactly what the comment was geared toward, but it's true. There's so many games that it's hard to get deep into anything, because just when you're wanting to play something else, something new's coming out you need to talk about. You want to try it, but you also want to go back to Risk of Rain 2 or whatever it is. And sometimes it's hard. First world problems.
That's one of, yeah, exactly. Well, that's one of the beautiful things about being a VR gamer is while there are so many releases coming hot and heavy, at least it comes at what, 50%, 30% of the cost of a traditional video game. So whereas your traditional gamer might buy one game over a month's time, we can for the same amount of money get two or three. So that's pretty cool.
Well, and that's the thing is, and that's one of the things I had to remind myself when it comes to flat gaming. I don't want, nor can I play every game that comes out. Like there's games that
Right.
come out and you look at it and you're like, oh, that's looks cool, but I'm not gonna buy every single game. So why does everybody expect that they're gonna buy every VR game? I used to feel that way. But there was also a lot less games coming out, and now I'm a little bit more selective because of it, even though they are a cheaper price. So it's a good problem to have.
Yeah, exactly. And these days it's more about budgeting your time than your money, right? Like uh the even if you can't afford all of them, you certainly can't afford to play all of them, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Paradise Decay says they need to stop. I can't bloody keep up.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know it's tough, right? Especially if you're like me and then like uh you get home and say, well, I'm going to play Returnal for 20 minutes and it ends up being 4 hours.
yeah,
Uh so like then what? Then what do? You're going to go play VR after? No, you're going to take a nap.
yeah, absolutely.
Um Drillo in the chat says, yeah, the library of titles is crazy. I don't know what the heck to play. I just got Elder Scrolls Oblivion working in full VR. What the hell do I play? Yeah, it's good problems, right? First world problems, like you just said.
Yep.
Speaking of which, Warhammer, Age of Sigmar Tempest Fall. Carbon Studios has long been teasing its upcoming Warhammer VR game, Tempest Fall, with an elaborate CG trailers. This past week, we got our first proper look at gameplay. In the footage, we see the player wielding a sword and staff to fight back against a ghostly enemy faction known as the Night Haunt. Carbon made its name on gesture-based combat with the Wizard series, and that seems to be intact here. Sword swipes send out long-distance attacks, and the staff can be used to shoot lightning. The trailer also confirms that the game is getting a closed beta, with signups taking place over on Carbon Studios' Discord channel. Warhammer Age of Sigmar Tempest Fall is coming to Oculus Quest and PCVR headsets this summer. Ruuts, when they announced this game and described what it was, I don't think that there was ever a more perfect fit studio wise than Carbon Studios for this game. It seems like, I mean, if you were to take the Warhammer branding off of this game, it seems very much like another Wizards game, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. What's crazy is how many different types of Warhammer games do we have coming? This is like the third iteration, right? And I know the War Sisters one was completely different gameplay. It was more guns than swords and stuff, but this one looks like the best one so far as graphically, for sure.
Yeah, well, obviously, with this being a PCVR native title, it's going to be beautiful. And then when you think about the Wizards Dark Times and what that looked like on PC, uh, even compared to the original Wizards title, I imagine we're going to see a similar step up here. And like Dark Times before it, this game is very much going to be eye candy.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely looks like it's gonna be. I just like the models of these enemies. They just look super creepy, super cool, and so well, I know Eddie C is definitely looking forward to this one. He says it's gonna be the best one yet.
Yeah, it makes you kind of wonder what you were missing. Like I've never played any Warhammer games, and even though there's like 10,000 of them on Steam, I've never actually played any of them. And I know when you talk about stuff like this with a supernatural element to it, this is right down my alley. This is the type of thing I enjoy, and yeah, I'm very much looking forward to getting my hands on this one.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Legendary Tales VR, a VR dungeon crawler heading into early access on PSVR headsets. Legendary Tales is all about physics-based combat. The gameplay is set to include melee, ranged weapons, and magic spells. Unlike many VR dungeon crawlers, Legendary Tales isn't set to be a randomly generated roguelike, but rather focus on bespoke levels where you clear rooms, gain gold, and collect legendary items to aid you on your quest to exit the dungeon. When it heads into early access sometime this year, the studio says it's hoping to provide 10 plus hours of gameplay to complete the dungeon. The game includes the option to team up with up to 3 other players, which may shorten or lengthen the overall gameplay time. Legendary Tales is slated to launch on Steam sometime in 2021. However, developers or Urban Wolf Games have opened the call for testers as the game moves into closed beta. Ruuts, I was on the fence about this one, whether or not we should talk about it now, or whether or not we should wait till it's a little closer to launching on Steam. But I was sold, Ruuts, when they said up to 3 friends can come along with you on this campaign here. That's what really piqued my interest here, because I mean, we have a bunch of these types of games already, but we don't have a lot of them that you can bring a friend along. And I think that alone makes this game worth keeping an eye on.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely looks like it could be pretty cool for sure. I want to go on an adventure.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems to be that that blade and sorcery style of gameplay, right? This is a very physics based stuff. You can grab items that are lying around and use them as weapons. I mean, it's very much that that it fits the everything that genre is known for, right? The physics based gameplay, and from looking at the early footage here, it seems to work fairly well. Does this type of game interest you at all now that we're getting it in the context of a campaign? Now, you know, my whole thing with Blade and Sorcery was I don't want to play in a sandbox, right? I want some direction. I want the developer to give me some direction, some kind of goal to work towards. And that's all it really takes to go from a game like Blade and Sorcery, which I have absolutely zero interest in, to a game like this, which has my interest peaked. Co-op, objective-based gameplay. Now you've got my attention.
Yeah, I'm like you. I want a story or something to pull me along. Gameplay. The days of going in somewhere and just being in VR is not enough. Although I would submit it never was, but in the beginning it was. Something like Blade and Sorcerer, going in, killing things just for the sake of killing things was cool, and then it became boring. I never got into the game for that reason. So I think I went into it once or twice and tried it and just wasn't that impressed. So but if it's got a cool storyline, absolutely. It definitely makes it more intriguing. I mean, I guess even Blade and Sorcery would be a lot cooler if you could play 4 people, right? So
Right. Well, I mean, they do have like multiplayer arenas, I think,
mm,
in Blade and Sorcery. So there is that, but again, you're just getting in there and messing around. It's kind of like a big tech demo, you know what I mean?
yeah, absolutely.
Um, Drillo says looks good if it has a decently deep campaign. Well, that's the red flag here with this one. There's only one thing that really concerns me about this, and it's that this footage, as awesome as it looks, I'm seeing pretty much one environment here. I mean, they're different rooms, but it's very samey looking, right? And I would expect if they had a variety of different environments that you were playing through, that they would show that in the trailer, and none of it, right? This all might as well be in the same room.
Yeah, Yeah, well, hopefully they have more to show when it comes out. But so far, this is coming soon to early access, right?
Yeah, early access. I think this might even come out this month. This is coming out very soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, the co-op dungeon crawler is something you'd think we'd have more of in VR. And I mean, we have the Carnage Chronicles, which is an amazing game. But beyond that, I struggle to think of. I mean, are there any other games like this in VR that you can play through with your friends?
Not like Carnage Chronicles, or like this if there's a story to it. So,
Um, Drillo, yeah, can't pull me in with Blades and Sorcery and Hellsplit Arena with a SP campaign either, a single player campaign either. Yeah, Hellsplit Arena was okay. It was more wave based than a sandbox, but the arenas are beautiful. That game's a lot about the eye candy as well. It's the action's fun, and yeah, it does tend to wear on you after a while, but it's good in short bursts. I do enjoy Hellsplit Arena.
people are saying VR Dungeon Nights is another one. I think that's a App Lab one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that one.
But yeah, Swords of our Gargantua, that's true. Or even what that other one we played.
Yeah, but I think Swords of Gargantua kind of has the same thing that I was scared of with this. It's very samey, right? Like uh I think they do have different arenas in that one, but not very I mean different. I'm using that term loosely there, right? They're different, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted to mention this one, bring a little attention to it. Certainly one to keep your eye on for all of the reasons that we just laid out.
Yep.
And that brings us to this next game, Roots. And I think, outside of the PlayStation reveals and all that stuff, this next game is probably the one great surprise this week that it came from the land of VR news. I am so super excited for Everslot. Everslot is an upcoming VR action game that throws VR comfort design out the window in favor of frenetic combat for those players who have no issues with motion sickness. There's a subset of VR players who seem almost immune to motion sickness, myself included, and those players are at Everslot's target audience. In a recently released gameplay teaser, we can see high-speed stick movement, leaping, and even grappling mixed in with melee and gun combat. Everslot is being built as a procedurally generated dungeon crawler of sorts, where players will battle for loot and be able to upgrade their character with skill points, perks, and more. The game is being developed by German-based indie studio Mob X, who promises innovative VR controls utilizing the controller's positional tracking to rapidly switch between your gauntlet's weapons and tools during intense combat situations. Fast-paced gameplay tailored towards a hardcore VR audience, offering swift, non-restrictive movement and combat. Slaughter hordes of enemies using creative combinations of your gauntlet's tools, various melee weapons, and special abilities. An RPG made for VR featuring loot, level, and upgrade mechanics for high character customization and replayability. Everslot is set for a June 25th early access release on Steam, priced at $20, with support for all major PCVR headsets. The studio plans to expand the game throughout early access with a 1.0 launch expected late next year. Ruuts, this game looks incredible to me. It's one of the most annoying things in the world, and it's almost universal. Whenever we get a new game, before we even start playing it now, we go straight to the settings so that we can disable all this comfort junk that they put in there out of fear that they might make someone sick where those of us who are playing VR on a daily basis don't get sick and we don't want to have to deal with all this crap. Well, this is something that's not lost on the developers of Everslot. And you and I, Ruuts, we're the target. We're their target audience with this. They're gambling that there are enough of us that will buy their game at a relatively modest price point of $20 that they're going to be profitable. Are they right?
I think so. Mosaic says 1.0 in late 2022. That's the release. The early access is June 25th of this year. So that just shows
Yeah,
you
now,
that they've got a bigger eye on what they're going to do than what they're giving out at first, right?
and I'll just point out June 25th, someone's birthday that I know.
Oh wow. Well, who doesn't love June 25th then, right? So I'll tell you what, this game looks amazing. It kind of looks similar to Dark Souls in some ways. It's
It looks like
chaotic.
it looks like medieval Doom, man. This looks like the Doom gameplay loop in VR, like legit.
Yeah, I think it's going to be amazing. And that grappling hook looks awesome. The dagger looks phenomenal. Everything about it. And, it's not even a month. We'll be seeing this in less than a month, 3 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, 3 weeks, and this game's going to get released into early access. And yeah, it is a relatively long early access period planned, but they're using that to expand the game. I think that you can tell by looking at this footage here that what they've got, I don't know how much they have, but what they have here looks very polished.
Yeah, Onikazi says it's not junk though. It's training wheels. VR still young enough that devs have to assume that their game is someone's first VR game. But what Wes is saying is that it's gone so far to the extreme that they don't even, nobody breaks out of the box. Everything is like on training wheels, and so the VR enthusiasts like ourselves are kind of left out in the cold most of the time, dealing with a lot of stuff that we shouldn't have to deal with. The options are good, and if they want to make us go in there and turn them off, I'm fine with doing it. Just don't make me not have those. The vignettes, I guess, could even work for this, right? I mean, if you have it to circle in when you teleport around, people could get good. But, just like every genre is not for everybody, there's going to be games that are fast paced that, they're just never going to be for that person. They're just never going to play it. It's going to be too much. And that sucks, but I still want it. So.
Yeah, well, I'm all for options, and that's not what I'm saying here. Obviously, more options the better, but it's overkill. In most cases, it's overkill. Even when I demo VR to new people, more than half the time, they're like, "What is this? Why is it doing this? Why is it when anytime I move the picture fading out?" And and generally, most of the time, even with new people, I'm turning vignettes off, right? And half the time, I'm turning teleport off. And I think it's refreshing that we're going to have a game now that by default makes you turn that stuff on if you want it, right? Turn it on if you want it. And obviously, from the looks of this, we're probably going to have a few people wanting to turn it on. This thing looks absolutely insane. It looks like it looks like it's paced like Serious Sam, like that constant 1,000 miles an hour high octane gameplay. And I love the aesthetic. I love how evil the enemies look. I love how visceral the combat looks. I love pretty much everything I'm seeing here from this game.
Yeah, it looks amazing. I think it's definitely going to be high on my list, and we only have to wait 3 weeks. So
Eddie C says, does the vignette actually help with motion sickness? In my case, it makes it worse, man. Like the things that they call comfort settings make me very uncomfortable.
yeah,
Like it's not just an annoyance. It literally it makes the games uncomfortable for me.
Yeah, VR. Durillo says it looks like Diablo on crack in first person in VR. I agree. Yeah, I think that looks awesome. Just looks fun.
Mosaic in the chat says, same story here, Wes. Most noobs want the vignetting turned off. Exactly, man. And I might be a little sensitive to it, coming from being a PlayStation VR user first. Sony is super anal about this stuff, man. Like you pretty much can't launch on PlayStation VR without having a full gamut of comfort options fully enabled by default.
Yeah. Well, I think the answer is, like Wes said, have the option there, but have people turn it on. If it bothers you, turn it on. If you don't have any problems, it should be off by default. So
Ray Delatorre vignette makes me get motion sickness. Exactly. It's crazy. Topsy turvy world, Ruuts.
yeah, that's crazy town for sure.
Traveling Man 3775. I turn off all VR comfort settings. That's why I have a crutch. Or that's why have a crutch, he says. Why have a crutch? Exactly. Jump in feet first, and if you get sick, take a break.
Yeah. Yep.
Eventually you'll get your legs. They're trying to cut people's legs off with these crazy options, Ruuts.
Yeah, I think so.
Chris Richardson, Sirento VR, anyone? Good call, Chris.
For sure.
Andy McAvoy, it seems the whole comfort options thing is mainly coming from focus groups feedback. Well, yeah, I don't know, man. It would seem weird to me that people would actually request this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Boy Brown, are they patching Forever Bowling? I don't know, man. Does it need a patch?
Yeah, somebody said something about it. It's been a little wonky lately.
Paradise Decay, snap turning takes me out of VR immersion. You know what makes it? What's even worse than snap turning for me is slow smooth turning. Like, I prefer smooth turning, but it needs to be quick. Like, if it's slow, I'd rather have blink turning, man. To be quite honest.
Yeah, I agree.
Bill Yarn, the big PSVR field of view is underrated. Man, everything about PSVR is underrated by people who don't have PSVR. It's an amazing platform, even still. All right. Anyway, Everslot coming in just a few weeks. So excited for that. Probably the biggest pleasant surprise of the week outside of the PlayStation VR announcements. So definitely stay tuned for this one because I can guarantee you there's much more coverage to come on this.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, Ruuts. I think with that said, it is time for this week's reminders. And before we get in to this week's reminders, actually, you know what? I need to do a little prep work to get ready for our drawing here. So we're going to kind of go, let's go ahead with the first two reminders as I set up, and then we'll kick back to giveaway time here in just a minute.
All right.
So our first set of reminders are what is out this week, and we actually do have a game coming out this week, Ruuts. A Rogue Escape is coming out from developer Spare Parts Oasis. This game's set to launch on June 10th. We talked about this game on more than one occasion, Ruuts, and I don't know if you remember, but this is that game where you were tasked to escape from some hostile environment. You end up jumping in this giant underwater mech, and you don't know how to drive it, though. So you're kind of stuck. But there are clues everywhere to teach you how to drive this monstering piece of machinery. And that's kind of the idea here. It's an underwater escape room. And I think it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, especially underwater, bro. Who doesn't want to be underwater these days, right? Maybe not.
Right. I mean, it's kind of
cool,
hot.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool, man. It looks different.
Yeah, it looks like it has many of the things that we love about Escape the Rooms, but then it has a very unique story and a lot of the sci-fi elements that we love from a standard adventure game.
There's some action.
Action packed. Yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know how much action there actually is going on in this game. It seems pretty solitary, actually. But again, you've got supposedly aggressive enemies outside the thing. So who knows? Maybe during some of the later stages there might be some action in it.
That's true.
Anyway, that, as far as I know, is the one notable release coming out this week. Certainly one that I'm interested in, and I don't know. Who knows? Maybe we'll be talking about this one on an upcoming Wednesday night.
Cool.
All right, that brings us to our next set of reminders, and this is the part of the show where we ask all of you to help us do our part to support these developers and these game studios by a simple click. All it takes is one simple click to wish list one of these great titles that we've talked about today, and we help the developers out not only by providing some much needed shine to their game on the upcoming store or the on the stores that support them, but also it helps the developers to gauge demand. How many people are interested in their game? All it takes is just a quick click, and we ask you, friends, to join us now in real time as we all go together and wish list the game in support of the developer community. And Roots, I don't even have to think twice. I know exactly what I'm wishlisting this week. Everslaught is amazing looking to me, and I can't wait until it comes out.
Everslaught, Yuki, got to get those on there for sure. Actually, there's a
Yeah.
lot of good ones.
Yeah, I mean, how many awesome games have we talked about already on this week's episode?
Yeah. I can feel her, Wes. I can feel Oprah just chomping at the bit, man. She is ready to go crazy, dude. Just feel it.
Well, I'm trying to get in there and get to it here, but
Well,
trying to
while
keep
you're
the
doing that,
episode moving.
I'm going to pull her out of the box and let her go crazy here while I use the restroom real quick while you pull that up.
Okay. All right. So I guess while Roots is doing that, we will talk to our friends in chat. So I'm going to Kazi, in real life, you don't look into the distance straight ahead and turn at a constant rate. Your eye looks at the direction you want to go, and the rest of your body follows. Yeah, exactly. And that's why there's so much which I guess everybody's different, right? When it comes to what they like in VR, but I feel like most of us hardcore gamers are pretty consistent with what we like and what we don't like with regards to comfort options. Chris Richardson says, "Don't flip the open hatch switch." Yeah, no kidding, bro. Like I think I Expect You to Die kind of taught us our lesson when it comes to trying to escape in one of these underwater pods, all right? Indrims VR, we've got to head off way past our bedtime. Thanks for the great show. Catch you again soon. Yes, thanks, Jimmy. Thanks for stopping by and chatting with us. We'll talk to you soon. Traveling Man 3775. I just remembered I gotta Google a truck driver in snowboarding terms. I need that medal to unlock that next level in carb. Yes, a lot of people playing carb. I keep seeing these achievements from my friends on carb snowboarding pop up in my Oculus notifications. So apparently this one fairly well received, and we're going to deep dive on that one coming Wednesday.
I can't wait. Actually, I went in a little bit, and it was actually pretty good. And don't have a seizure, Ray Delator. It's not worth it. Said Oprah's giving him a crazy seizure here. She is freaking out.
All right. So now that I've got you back, Roots, I'm going to have you kind of drive the conversation with the chat for a little while I get this thing lined up, and I'll just kind of chime in here and there as you go, if you don't mind.
No, that's fine. Actually, Mosaic says, does the Decamove turning device work with any Quest titles? That's a good question. I know it works with pretty much, I would imagine most ones is just as far as a normal turning thing. I know a lot of people have been raving about that. It just came out. I would imagine that's one of the good ones for Decamove would be the snowboarding one, right?
Yeah, and one of the interesting things about the Decamove is it's not so much about the hardware as the software. Like people are using that Decamove software with their old throwaway smartphones that they have in a drawer,
Hmm.
and apparently it's working,
Just
pretty
as well.
dang well. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot better than head based. Head based is better than controller based, in my opinion, especially with games like I can't even imagine how you'd play Risk of Rain 2 if you had it controller based. You're constantly shooting stuff as you're flipping around and going backwards and all sorts of stuff. That game is just so good. Jarillo taking off. He's gonna catch the rest of the show. We appreciate you sticking around, bro. And it's cool seeing you. Let's see.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for coming by, Drillo. I guess Drillo's not interested in who's going to win the Jupiter God
No,
giveaway.
no, he does not. Or the killer deals. Although we are moving into almost a 3 hour thing, we might want to separate that to something else or whatever, like we were talking about. But it's up to you.
Yeah, we were what Roots is talking about here. We mentioned last week that we're thinking about doing free stuff and killer deals as its own weekly episode instead of having it tacked on to the end of our Sunday show every week, making it uh, its own piece of content. And we think that that's kind of a good idea for multiple reasons. One, because we always run long on Sunday anyway. And two, Sunday's not the best day to highlight this stuff. And generally, there's typically a day to 2 days left on the sales before they turn over on Tuesday. It makes much more sense to have this episode come uh, at the start of the weekend, right? So I think that's what we're going to do going forward. Is we're going to do free stuff and killer deals as a standalone episode, probably airing sometime around Friday.
It would not. Lipnock says it wouldn't be live. It would not be live because we would probably film it before the Wednesday show and then air it later on. And logistically, it'd
Yeah,
be harder to do it live just because of Wes's
yeah,
schedule.
yeah. Well, I mean, 3 live shows a week. That's my hat's off to the Without Parole guys that they're doing 3 live shows a week. That's insanity. I mean, it's all I can do to keep up with 2, right? Uh, but when you talk about free stuff and killer deals, we're generally not going back and forth with the chat too much during that anyway.
Right.
We're generally we're at the end of the show and we're trying to run through it as fast as we can, just to make sure people get the deals and then sign off.
That's why
Um,
I think it's a good move because of the timing wise. We'll still be premiering it, so I'd still be in the chat. Wes would jump in where he could from work or whatever. But the main thing would be we're able to showcase the games that are on sale a little bit better because that is what happens. Is like we got a long list of a lot of games right now, and either we're going to skip something or we're going to rush through it. We're not going to want to talk about it too much, and then at that point it's like, why are we even doing it, right? I think
right.
it'll give us more time. It'll space it out, give us something else to on the show, and then also everybody gets paid typically on the weekend. So now you know what the sales are going into the weekend, what to buy your stuff on. So I think on a lot of ways it's going to be a good thing. So
Right. And I will say, just as a general uh, notification for those of you who are playing on PlayStation VR, Eric Masher, specifically someone who's just now starting to build his PSVR library. We talked about the Days of Play sale that started last week. And, it was a pretty massive PSVR sale. Since last week, they have started another sale. Days of Play still happening, by the way. They've done another sale, uh, spotlighting indie titles, indie studios, and that brings this massive PSVR sale up to over 100 titles. Um, Many great must-own titles in it. So I would suggest those of you who are looking to build your PSVR library, don't wait for our free stuff and killer deals segment to take place this later this week. Go check out the PSVR store right now, because I mean, there's so many good deals. I mean, more than we'll even be able to cover on the show anyway.
Yeah, Eddie C says that the Oprah gif is giving him a headache. I think they're on to us. Watch Virtual Strangers. Watch Virtual Strangers. But yeah, it's Oprah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Oprah hurts my head too, bro.
Yeah, who doesn't hurt Oprah's head these days, right?
All right. All right. A lot of people entered this giveaway, Ruuts. I think this might be the most
Give your eyes a break.
successful giveaway that we've done.
That's good. That's good. Well, I don't want to give anybody a seizure, so I'm going to give your eyes a break. Go to the big screen here, and but yeah, so there's a lot of people that are looking to get this Jupiter Grot. It's actually been a while, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we're up to 16 and still going on the Oculus Quest version. Like people are down for it, bro.
Yeah, that's good. I'll tell you what, it's making me hungry. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but maybe it's just that this is so long. Tell you what, I've seen a green square this entire time, Wes. And 0 dropped frames. That's a little bit better than the last stream that had 65% drops frames.
Much better.
Yeah.
And while we're on the topic of the free stuff and killer deals, there is some time sensitive stuff on there that we probably should share. For example, Epic Game Store free game this week, Frostpunk, and by the time the weekend rolls around, there'll be a new game on there. So those of you who rely on us for your weekly reminder to claim your free Epic Games Store game, Frostpunk is a pretty cool looking game. It looks like something that would really pop in Helix Vision too.
Frostpunk. Need to pick it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Eddie C says this is definitely better than the last stream. Well, it's gonna have a beginning and an end, and that's always a good thing. I still don't understand. It did everything the opposite of what it normally does. Usually, if it's gonna drop something, it's gonna be the end, not the beginning. Very weird.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. Like they took the meat from the sandwich and or they left the meat and ate the bread.
Yeah. This is the Acid 3X. Yeah, it's the Jupiter Grod giveaway. Rumor is that there may be a Risk of Rain key or two coming around soon. We'll see on that one. But I definitely want to do a money show from the just because Traveling Man is throwing $5 out. He forgot it. It says almost forgot my manners. Great show, guys. $5. We appreciate you, Traveling Man. But I definitely want to do a money show to prove to Wes that we can talk VR from the chaos of Risk of Rain 2.
Well,
Although I don't think it's that much that chaotic, really, when it's all said and done.
Well, the thing about Risk of Rain 2 is it's at your own pace, but you want to be fast, right? Like the whole game is built on you don't want to linger, bro. As soon as you feel like you've powered up enough, you need to go on to the next because the difficulty level of the game is constantly increasing the whole time that you play. So lingering in any one level is not a good idea.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what,
so-
and that's one of the things I'm reading the most of, Wes, is like they're saying not even to linger to get a couple items. You know what I mean? Like they're saying you don't need more than 1 or 2 items going into the next round, the second round. The beginning level is going to be the one that people are tempted to stick around the most, and that's where you lose a lot of the time. So Delirium Drew saying best Sunday VR podcast 100%. I agree with you, Drew. Thank you for the $2.99 donation. Definitely appreciate it for sure.
Yeah. Thanks for the support, guys. You guys make the dream happen, and you guys are going to see very soon. I know I say this every week. You're going to see quite soon what you're allowing us to do.
And Aylin Kara wants me to bring up Swarm because they just
Aylin Kara, I'm sure that we mentioned it at the top. Our newest patron supporter. I want to quickly, last week I mentioned that I was enhancing the weekly show notes for the patrons. Made a few alterations to that this week that they'll probably want to be familiar with, first of all, the highlights segment that we debuted at the top of the show this week, or headlines rather, the headline segment. If you look at the headline segment in the show notes, you can click on any one of the headlines and it'll link you through to the article. So if there's anything we talked about that you want the full breakdown on, just go to the show notes, click on the headline, and it'll pop you right through to the article. Secondly, if you scroll all the way down in the show notes past the reminders, you're going to see a new section on there called trailers, and it is just what it says. All the games we featured on today's program. If you want to check out the trailers in full screen with full audio, they're all linked down there. So just click the links and that'll pop you right on through to the trailer. So I wanted to again, constantly looking at ways to provide value to those of you who support us by the various different means that are available.
Absolutely. Eddie C wants to know what helps us out more, YouTube tips or Patreon. I mean, there's a cut for both. I think Patreon's less as far as that goes, but any amount or anything that you guys give us, even a subscription or a thumbs up or a share, comment, it all helps tremendously. So we appreciate anything for sure.
Yeah, that's really what we could use right now. Just about as much as anything, even more than money, is some
cheerleaders,
some sharing on social media. Like, I self promote sometimes on Twitter and Reddit, but a lot of people frown on that. Like, there are certain people that won't watch your stuff just because you self promoted on Reddit. So it'd be very helpful if you guys could help get the content out there and get some new eyes on it. That's really what we need more than anything, is new eyes on our content.
Yeah, we appreciate anything anybody does, and so don't feel bad if you don't have the finances to help in a monetary way. That a lot of people are in that boat, myself included, from time to time. So anything, just watching is awesome. So we appreciate that for sure.
Anyway, we are poised to give away some games here now, Ruuts. We've had 32 entrants for a Jupiter God, 28 of them for Oculus Quest, and 4 for PlayStation VR, which means, Ruuts,
that's good odds for the PlayStation VR people.
Yeah, 3 out of 4 of them are going to actually. You know what, Ruuts? You know what? I was holding. I always hold an extra key, just in case there's a problem with one of them. So we'll have an extra to fall back on. Everyone who entered for PlayStation VR, all 4 of you, if you don't win a quest key, because most of them, if not all of them, entered both. If you don't win a quest key, I'm guaranteeing you a PlayStation copy of it right now.
Wow.
So, all 4 of those people who entered for PSVR, just because they're still rocking the PSVR in these late days, I'm going to hook you all up with a key.
Yeah, well, there's your there you have it, right? The benefit of having a PlayStation VR in 2021, less pool for the games. So hopefully for all the people that have quests, none of those people win. Although some people are probably like, screw you, I want the quest version. Because that's 7 unique people that get the game that way, right?
Yep. Well, we will see. As always, this will be determined by random.org. I have gone to the comment section where everyone entered and assigned every entry a number. Random.org is going to give me some random numbers, and this is how we will determine the winners. So we're looking at a minimum of 1, a maximum of 28, and the first of 3 Oculus Quest winners is,
here it is,
number 27.
Ooh.
27 being Wormsworth. Who says hello. Jupiter God Jupiter Grod Quest. Thank you. All right. For those of you who win, I guess I could tell these people how to claim their prize. The way you claim your prize is by hitting me up either on our Discord, which is linked in the description, or my Twitter, which is linked in the description. Other than that, I think if you go to the about page of the YouTube channel, you'll find our channel email on there. You can also contact me via email, but if you do it via email, I'm going to have to confirm your identity. So like I'll have you reply to your original comment or something like that. That way we can't have imposters show up and try to claim the keys. So Wormsworth, just hit me up, Discord or Twitter, and we will get you your copy of Upertagrad Quest.
Wormsworth in the chat says hello. That's awesome.
Well, hello there. Congratulations.
Yeah.
All right. And the next winner is number 24. 24 being Jay Vargason. Jay Vargason, please throw me in the lottery for both PSVR and Quest. So there's one of our PSVR winners getting a Quest key. Thank you for subscribing and thank you for participating, Mr. Vargason. Please hit me up on the aforementioned social media sites to request your prize.
What a good game, right?
Oh, it's awesome, dude. It's great.
Yeah.
And the final winner of Jupitergrad on Quest is 13, lucky number 13.
Ooh.
And that one is up here a little ways. Warmark. Great video, and thank you for the giveaway, love. Enter for Jupitergrad on the Oculus Quest. So congratulations, Warmark. Be sure to hit me up on the socials to claim your prize. Thank you to everyone who played and shared on your social media. More giveaways coming, guys. We don't look to do these kinds of giveaways. We don't go asking to try to make stuff like this happen. But when developers approach us with the opportunity, we always jump on it. We never cease to take the opportunity to pass this type of stuff on to you guys. So thanks for participating. And when you see, such a reception like this one got, it makes you feel good. It makes you feel good to give these people some stuff to play.
I love to see free games go out there, and it's awesome to see because like you said, we're not like looking for it. We're not like out there trying to, because a lot of channels build their numbers that way, and it's a great way to build them, but we're more interested in giving you guys access to these games. And it's awesome to have a developer approach us and be like, hey, we want to give back to the communities, and it's a great chance to do it. So we appreciate it for sure.
Yeah, we like we generally we don't do a giveaway every week because we want to attract subscribers based on content, not just freebies all the time. With that said, though, it is good to do an occasional giveaway because it gets people to put their eyes on the content. Like part of the deal is you have to subscribe here to get your prize. So at the very least, people are watching this program. They're seeing all the awesome discussion that we had today, and maybe they'll decide to stick around next week as we talk about whatever crazy stuff drops this week.
Isn't it crazy? Eddie C says Jupitergrad was great. He got the advanced key a few weeks ago, right? And I met Eddie like 6 weeks ago in a random, I guess it wasn't random, with Delirium Drew and other people. I think it was Delirium Drew or Void Cat or something, but we did a thing, and I was trying to tell him how cool our show was, and he just came to check it out because I mentioned it in passing, and now he's become one of the staples of the show, right? Winning free keys. He's there every week. We
on the Discord, hangs out on the Discord with us.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Toad Shambo, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so big thanks to everyone that participated and shared. The next one coming up soon. Actually, I already have the next one lined up. Don't know exactly when we're going to do it yet, but I mean, we could do it next week. But I decided that it probably would make more sense to time it with an update for the game that we're going to be giving away. So there is an update coming for said game. There's going to be a free demo coming for said game. And when that launches, we're going to give away some copies. So it is a game we've covered before, and that's really all I'm at
Ooh,
liberty to discuss at this moment in time.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's a cool game. It's a bit niche. You know, it's a PCVR game that's a niche within a niche. But it had some very cool stuff going on with it at the time that we checked it out, and it's been updated pretty well since then to make it a little bit more accessible, but still a game for hardcore VR gamers. So that's pretty cool.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, I just want to really quick skim over the free stuff to make sure there's no other time sensitive things that we need to get out there right now. I will mention that the PlayStation Plus games for June have posted. Uh, as uh, as we speculated, Star Wars Squadrons is one of the PS4 titles that's included with PS Plus this month. So, you know, one of the better VR releases over the last year, being included with your subscription. Be sure to get in there and claim that one.
Yeah, this is the only thing I can think of that's time sensitive because it's the daily deal, right? Which is Journey of the Gods. It's what 25% off, I believe.
Yeah, and you know, this is a game that doesn't get enough love, in my opinion, basically because it's been out for so long. This was a launch title for the original Oculus Quest, and people have played it and they're over it. But uh, I mean, as far as Zelda style adventures in VR, this is probably the best example that the Oculus Quest platform has. This is an outstanding game, and even though the the art style is a bit simplistic, it's a great adventure, and the gameplay is super fun. So I recommend this game at full price. This is a $30 game through and through. The fact that it's on sale right now for $23, I think if you don't have this and you like that sort of game, you should pick it up.
Yeah, definitely looks cool. Definitely a lot more palpable for me for 23 bucks for sure.
Yeah, we should probably just go ahead and read off all the quest stuff. It'll probably be changed over by Friday, which is I think when we'll do our first episode.
Cool.
Warhammer 40K Battle Sister, we already talked about. $24 right now on the Oculus Quest store, cross-buy enabled, as is Journey of the Gods, both games cross-buy enabled. So you get 2 copies for your price. I haven't tried it yet, so I really can't say whether it's worth it or not, but it looks cool and it convinced me. I paid money for that one, which isn't normally the case with a lot of these games. So
Yeah, people have said it's good. So
Eddie C in the chat says Journey of the Gods was amazing. It was like playing Zelda in VR. Yeah, it's literally like playing like an old school Zelda game from inside in VR. It's really cool.
yep.
Journey of the Gods versus that new one. What do you think? Which new one are you talking about, Drew?
Maybe sword the $10 one that we haven't talked about that's coming out. We'll talk about on Wednesday. The Swords
so Swords of Harloth.
Yeah.
Well, without getting too much into it, I can tell you Journey of the Gods is a lot longer campaign.
Yeah.
You know, just saying that. But again, you're talking $10 versus $30 here too. So, I mean, we have to consider that as well.
Yeah.
All right, bundles, Roots. I don't know if we've ever seen better bundles on the Quest store than this week. Awesome bundles. First of all, Lies Beneath is being paired up with Crashland, 2 must-own games on Oculus Quest. You know, both of these games are must-own. $39. How do you not?
That's a no-brainer. Both of those are amazing games, and like you said, they're no must-owns. I own them both, and they're both games that I would tell somebody in a heartbeat, definitely pick it up for sure.
Yeah, Lipnox VR says that's an unfair comparison. That is kind of. I mean, we have Harloth, which is a $10 game coming from two dudes, versus Journey of the Gods, which is an Oculus funded exclusive from a big studio. So kind of apples and oranges, right?
Yeah. How about this one though? This is a no-brainer deal for $40, man. I think either one of those games is worth $40. So you're kind of getting
Yeah,
one for
I
free.
was I was camping, as you all know, last week, and relegated to my Oculus Quest. It was the only video games I took in while I was gone. And I have 90 titles available in my Oculus Quest library. Ruuts, do you know which of my 90 titles got the most time out of me this week?
This one? Was it this one?
Crashland. Absolutely. I played Crashland probably more than anything. Now, Trover was a close second, and that game just kills me. It's so funny. But Crashland took the crown.
Yeah. Well, it's just one of those games. It doesn't matter how many times you've played it. It's always going to be different, and it's hard as hell, man. It's definitely
It's so hard. It's so frustrating. Like I almost threw my controller out into the woods because I was so frustrated. Like, dude, like 10 seconds left in to beat the level, and then something hits you and you don't even see it coming. You don't even know what it is. Something killed you,
my favorite
So
is when
frustrating.
I'm cocky. That and the last time I played and recorded it, I was all cocky about I threw down my gun and like my turret, and then the turret started shooting early, and I was like, "What are you doing? You're wasting all your shots." And then, but of course, it was when I threw it down, and by the time that it was wearing off, I mean, I just ended up dying like with 5 seconds left, and it was so frustrating. I've never passed a game where I'm like beating it and I'm just like, man, that's ridiculous, dude. Like, what is going on in this? But that's what we want, right? I want it to be so hard that when I do beat it, it means something. And that this game does that in spades.
Yeah, yeah, an amazing game, an amazing bundle. Lies Beneath included. I've still got my playthrough that I need to finish editing. People were coming along for the ride with me on that one, and I got distracted as I often do and quit publishing those gameplays. Um, by the way, thanks to everyone who showed up for the Half-Life premiere. I premiered one of the Lethal Weasel gameplays on the Virtual Strangers last week, so you guys could see my gameplay style. I get a little goofy with it, but it's all good fun. And if you guys enjoyed that, be sure to check the other channel out there. I don't upload to it nearly as often as I should, but there is a what over 200 gameplay videos on my Lethal Weasel channel, and
Full
some of that stuff's
playthroughs.
really good. Yeah, especially the early days of the channel. Before I was doing Virtual Strangers every week, that's what the channel was. Is it was a complete full playthrough channel. That was the concept, was VR games in their entirety. So a lot of good content there. If you guys enjoyed the Half-Life video, go check that out.
Absolutely.
Crashland, some advice: don't try starting on hard to level up faster. Yeah, do not. It's hard enough, bro. But uh for some people it's never hard enough. You know who it's never hard enough for? Birds.
My mom!
Yeah, she's kind of needy that way.
The other bundle, pretty awesome in its own right. Ghost Giant being paired up with Curious Tale of the Stolen Pets, two of the more warm and fuzzy story-driven games on Oculus Quest. Ghost Giant, I mean, it was like it was always meant to be here, right?
Yeah, man, this Ghost Giant's one of the games that I want to play through on the Quest because the tracking was so wonky on the PlayStation VR. It's the only way I played it, and I keep saying I want to go back to this. Maybe this would be the time to get it, right?
There you go. I think we already have Stolen Pets, if I'm not mistaken. So we might be able to squeeze a discount in there on Ghost Giant.
I don't know if I do own that one on Quest or
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, we might have it on Steam. I don't remember.
Yeah,
Oh no, I've got that one on Quest. I might have bought it.
okay, yeah, because I don't think
my
I have
kids
it on
like it.
Quest. So
Which that game may have came out when you didn't have a Quest too. That might be what happened
that's
with
true.
that.
That's true. Yeah, it's one of the few games that actually has legit hand tracking, and
Yep.
so
Yeah, Curious Tale of Stolen Pets, 100%.
yeah.
Hand tracking supported. Eddie C, is Crashland multiplayer? It is not. unfortunately. But
No,
it
if you
is
want,
very good.
Guardians is similar, which we'll be talking about on Wednesday, right?
Absolutely, we will. You know, somebody was asking me about Guardians literally as I was getting the key for it. Like some random person that I hadn't talked to in 6 months starts talking to me on Discord and asking me what I think about Guardians because they're thinking about buying it.
Man, it looks cool, man. It looks very similar to Risk of Rain 2 as far as gameplay wise, even though it's a totally different type of game, but it looks pretty cool. So
Yeah. Onakazi already had Lies Beneath, so picked up the Crashland for 16
ooh,
bucks and change.
what a deal, dude. I'll tell you what, when I bought Crashland, I just read so many good reviews about it, and everybody was raving about it so much so that I bought it without. I was like, I have to buy this game. You know, rarely does the community sway me when it comes to that, but if something's that well received, and even people that said that they initially didn't like it came back to change their review to say how amazing it is, that tells you a lot. Because usually people don't do that. People kind of suck when it comes to reviews.
Traveling Man 3775, I got Guardians, but only played the tutorial and I was impressed. Well, there you go. So looking forward to checking that one out. Just installed it, freshly installed on my Quest. I haven't even booted it yet.
Yeah. So if you are curious about what we think about Guardians, tune in on Wednesday as we will be talking about that as well as what other games are we talking about, Wes?
We're going to talk about carved snowboarding.
Oh,
We're going
yeah.
to talk about Stones of Harloth.
That's right. That's right.
Jam-packed episode paired with Game of the Month for May. It's going to be another banger, just like this one was a banger, Roots.
Yeah. And if you are curious about killer deals, check in on Friday. We should have a brand new episode premiering, right? For killer deals just for your weekend. So
That's the plan. We're going to take this little slice of time that we would normally be doing it live, and we're going to transfer that to another day. And we're going to have another piece of weekly content for you guys. And right now, tentatively scheduled to premiere on Friday. So,
yeah.
we may not, it may not be live, but we probably will do some kind of a live premiere or something for it. So, you guys can chat it up while we talk about the deals.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we'll be able to, I'll be there, and Wes will pop in whenever he's in between work, I guess, right?
Right.
So,
Anyway, that brings us to our last reminder this week and every week, and that is how you can support our channel. And of course, if you haven't already, the best thing that you can do and the easiest way to support our channel is by clicking that big red subscribe button down there, along with that bell, which will enable you to keep up with our ever increasing content library here on the Virtual Strangers channel. Of course, for those of you who have been longtime subscribers and want to do a little something more, you can do so by supporting us on Patreon, where for as little as $3 per month, you can gain access to our awesome show notes, which are getting better and better every week, apparently, as well as the occasional insider update and the occasional episode of The Money Show, the best $3 deal in VR, hands down. The Virtual Strangers Patreon. And of course, for those of you who are wandering around aimlessly with no place to lay your head, I invite you, friends, into our home. And when I say our home, I don't mean Ruuts and I mean our community. We all live on the Virtual Strangers Discord server, and you will find an invitation in the description down below. That invitation is your key to the front door. Or the back door. You know who's all about the going in the back door, Roots?
My
I did
mom!
not hear that, but now I'm learning new things today for sure.
Anyway, we invite you into our home. The Discord's where we laugh, cry, we play games together. We talk about the issues that matter, unfortunately, but that's what happens. But anyway, this is where we live. This is where we do our day-to-days. This is where you can pretty much talk to Roots and I anytime you want to. We might not be on there, but generally within a few hours, we will get back to you. So join us. The invitation's in the description. Come on home.
Yeah. Come on home. Ray Delator bringing in the caboose there with a $5 donation. We appreciate that for sure.
Thank you, Ray. Thanks for the $5. And thank you for telling everyone to keep those vignettes turned off, man. You're just going to make it unbearable.
Yeah, turn that crap off, please.
Anyway, with that said, friends, we'd like to thank you all once again for watching. And for Ruuts, I'm Wes. We will see you Wednesday, friends. Bye now.